Hello and welcome back to CrestVahllen D&D The Argent Flame. This will be episode 39, Divine Deterge. Now, without further ado, let's get into the recap of the previous episode. As the shimmering iridescent form of Moonchild becomes a welcome addition to the ever-growing ragtag group of individuals, information about the existence, nature, and origin of the mythical creatures, known as dragons, is discussed and developed, their history and fate inextricably intertwined with the innate power in the world that the party knows as magic. Ermgrim toys with the idea of having several Keepers of the Flame in one place, but the designation of the Keeper of the White Flame is shrouded in ambiguity. Moments later, Eleazar's demeanor steels into a cold, stern determination as he approaches Pernua, an icy anger in his eyes and stride. Seeking vengeance for the torture he endured by her hand, he raises his sword of dragon bone, the tenets of his oath ringing true in his mind as she submits to his reprisal. He stops short, however, realizing that she, too, is but a pawn in a tangled web of plans and manipulations. Helping her up from her knees, the silver dragonborn regards Pernua with greater understanding, before kneeling himself in prayer to his deity, heralding a cold and bitter wind that sweeps through the Firebeard homestead, blessing and rewarding Eleazar with greater power. Trisheni, Log, and Cole research and educate themselves on further spellcraft, while Boots and Pimjack discuss the purse that was relieved from the slain Moonray of the Lake faction. The remainder of the party heads to Uwanet, comprised of George's 6 merchant stalls. Now, let's get back to the action. Welcome back to CrestVahllen.
Hello and welcome back to CrestVahllen D&D, the Argent Flame. Now that we know what's going on with George, we can get back into it. Yes, I got all your tents and your bedrolls for you. Is there anything else I could get for you?
I would like to speak to someone who could possibly help with some potions that could be useful.
Oh, potions? You'll probably want to talk to Giorgio. He's the one with all the mystical arts and the medallions and all the cool stuff and the incense.
Well, can you get Giorgio for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, Giorgio! And he just dunks down under his thing. Kind of weaving a braid. Done these, bottom low sitting glasses.
He's going to be moving, just follow him.
Okay.
And runs over to the other side of the square.
We told him to just follow him over to where he's going.
Yes, come over here. Welcome. Yes, so I hear that you would ask potions of this humble merchant.
Yes, I'm looking for some of the best potions that you have available.
Oh, yeah, some of the best potions.
Even maybe some ones that you don't have available for the public.
If you're speaking of potions I may have acquired. Questionable me. Mm-hmm. Roll a persuasion check.
I mean, we were the ones that provided you some questionable.
Right.
18.
This is the one that actually did the drugs.
Yeah.
18. Very well. I believe I have something or other here for you.
God. Oh, man.
I'm reading this correctly, and I think I am. Okay. Oh, not these. Unfortunately, another merchant came by and bought out most of my potions. But what I do have available are some rather lesser healing. If you're looking for potions that do ultimate things, some magical abilities and whatnot, I believe you might want to head towards the cenote to reuse my cycle. Run by Ankyline? Unculine? this Triton fellow who's very good at turning certain potions into even more potent versions of themselves. What I can offer you is a lesser potion of healing and a regular potion of healing.
How much are your regular potions of healing?
25 gold for a lesser and 50 for the regular. I have one of each.
I'll take them both.
It's a pleasure doing business with you.
When he puts out this gnarled hand that has long fingers, which doesn't make sense. It's like the hand has longer fingers than George. And actually, as you look, it looks like he's wearing like finger extensions. You go ahead. You can hand those to him.
I was just
This has
thinking maybe he had met Grandpa cruel before and he wasn't right in the head anymore.
You don't happen to have any charms or amulets, do you?
Oh, you may have some interested in some mystical protection. What is it that you're looking for?
Divination, protection against.
Interesting. You prefer to keep your efforts clandestine.
Yeah.
Let me see what I have this one amulet that is a symbol of the Raven Queen and supposedly douses you in shadow and protects you from prying eyes. But at least that's what the father was saying. Good luck, charm. These cheese boats are really good, aren't they?
Those grilled cheeses. From JJ down the street. In case you're curious.
Yes, I have one myself.
Yeah. I got a whole loaf. We split it up between us. It's just so good. Can I give it like an arcana? Like, is it something
Go ahead and roll an
actually
Arcana check. Yeah.
magical? Or is it just a trinket kind of thing? Dirty 20.
It did not appear magical. It appears mundane. This is part of like a left turn.
I was more looking for something actively protective. Thank you for showing me.
It's very much active. Very well.
I'm looking for something that doesn't burn.
Spells of divination.
I mean, it's metal.
There are spells of divination that target certain things, and I was wondering if there was anything you had that actively shielded you from such spells.
What? What?
That's a very nice trinket you have there. Thank
See
you.
him rub some blue arcane off of his nose.
Yep, that tracks.
Yes, do I know you?
Did you sell it to him or did you sell it
Yeah.
to George?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also look different. So I think who do I look like at the time?
So he
I think
just
you
like
looked at
raises his
guy
eyebrow.
from Good like Friday and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was
You
Tommy
keep-
Lister Jr.
Make eye patch every time you change.
Make it look like.
No, I think it probably depends on like who the face is. Like
Okay.
Ron Perlman, I probably kept the eye patch.
That makes
But,
sense.
but for Monk, I probably won't.
Just wondering. Yeah, it's supposed to be Storm. TJ.
I just wanted to
Go fresh
have
air.
some fresh air. Yeah. How about any other magical items, trinkets, wondrous things?
Well,
Or do any of your fellow store
Roll persuasion check.
I know. I know.
Gizmo's made 10 times the
You
persuasion.
did an
check.
amazing job. You're always the one that's asking. Like the bar doesn't come through like, do you have anything under the table? He does it every once in a while, but you're like, hey, what do you got? What can you give me?
16 on the die.
16.
You were
Yeah, that's not bad.
always the
He's
one
like,
who's like, What extra can you do for me?
There was an individual who was in a hurry to offload these items that I was able to get a nice low price for them, so I'll pass those savings on to you. And he pulls up these boots that
I've tried doing that before. The last pair I made blew up on me.
He pulls up these boots that the soles themselves look almost ethereal. And they kind of like constantly have that kind of like dry ice, cold, wispy thing that come out of them. But it's not cold. It's just like ethereal and blue and like
Foggy.
very translucent and foggy.
Misty.
these are said to
What does it do?
prevent people from being able to trace you. At least by conventional means.
I tried to make a pair of boots that could make me fly. They ended up just blowing up and launched me into the air.
So like a personal problem.
That's where I got the nickname Boots. My friends all made fun of me and called me Boots for a couple of
And
years.
so we heard the story of Boots learning to fly.
I love how cold.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you interested?
I'm not.
That's
What kind of boots do you think?
Fly.
I've got
All
Conk with me.
style.
He's going to make footprints that nobody's going to be able to.
Here's the deal. Is everybody here?
I'm off doing my own. Little...
Everybody else is here?
Yeah.
Everybody
I think
else
I'm
here
interested
can roll
to
an
see.
intelligence check other than Eleazar.
Other than me?
Other than you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Damn it.
Nobody's going to be able to hide Conk's footprint. So
You can too.
Doesn't
roll an
matter.
intelligence check.
Ooh.
just intelligence.
Great intelligence.
22.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
9.
Just like catch this guy's eye and be like, oh yeah, drugs, huh? Yeah. And he's just like, stop. The rest of you, these boots look really familiar. Like they were on the feet of some very tall female individual with blue and gold armor.
Ooh.
We want those.
And they look pretty powerful.
And can Eleazar tell by looking at his companions? Because he has no idea. He's like, right.
Yeah, right.
Can he tell by looking at his companions that they know what it is, especially ones that kind of rolled?
You probably roll an insight check.
18.
18, yeah, you get, there looks like there's like across their three faces, you get like a visage of recognition, like these look familiar.
So what are they?
Later.
Yes.
Out of hearing.
Is that
These are for sure magical, and they do have some magical qualities.
is that Willow?
And like, it's like that.
Blue and gold.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Shade.
Shade.
The shade.
Oh,
no,
Like,
somebody
no,
looting
the
Shadow's
shadow,
body.
No, the shadow.
Shade had blue and gold, and
but the shadow was the one that was killed.
oh, but there was a.
yeah.
But the shade was the one that was with us.
Yeah.
Did the shade
But we
leave her
burned
boots
her
behind?
leg.
Maybe.
No, we burned her leg.
But if it's magical, it
They're
might
not-
not.
It doesn't matter. We don't want
Then
those.
it wouldn't have destroyed it. Maybe.
We
They're
don't
more-
want those.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the deal. They all have the same footwear.
They're Dorcanon Rye footwear.
Yeah.
They're highly
Very
magical.
Don't
easily
want that name
traceable.
brand.
I'll trust you guys.
They're assassin boots of a special assassins.
Sort of like
their equipment to make sure it doesn't fall into the
Yeah.
hands.
Gotcha.
So, like, if you're going to pretend to be a policeman, you don't want a real policeman's badge.
Right.
They're going to be able to figure out exactly whose badge you took
Mm.
right away.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
Ding ding. Got it.
You see, you do what you
Especially
do
with
see
magic
is that
that lets you
there's a fine layer of like
specific
dirt
things.
and dust.
They
That's
know
on
that
these
those
counters
boots are
just
missing.
because,
They can
you know,
lock
things get
onto
kicked
those
up, people
boots.
move.
Like,
As he puts the
with
boots on
magic.
top of them and moves them around a little bit, and like puts one up and puts the other up, you don't leave any footprints.
Piece of advice: sell those as soon as possible.
That's what I'm trying to do.
No.
Will you buy them?
No.
No,
They appear to be very magical.
they are.
They're also
Very good purchase.
dangerous.
The people that want them back are going to find them.
How would they want them back if they sold them?
Not the person who sold them.
The people that they came from.
Will you buy them from me? I'll give you a discount.
Those were a little too hot for us to take.
You look quite cool. Not
It took
What are
them
the ones
less.
referenced anyway?
It took them less than 8 hours to find us.
Are you hunted?
Always. Don't you see how handsome I am?
No.
See, I'm not the only one who says so. You have one eye. I don't trust your perception.
I'm sorry, it's just you're not my cup of tea.
Holy shit, this is hilarious.
My advice would be if we cannot resell them within a day,
All right, 50%.
get rid of them.
He's really trying to get
100 gold for the boots.
I don't want them.
All right. 75.
I don't want them.
65.
We are not taking them with us. If you do not get rid of them by the end of the day, I would suggest you get rid of them.
50 gold, final offer.
Nope.
You was right. You look quite good.
no.
If you start picking up your hand,
He's not saying no.
I mean, they did trace us because I had her soul in my hand, right? But, yeah.
I'm not there. I can't see anything.
It took the shadow less than 8 hours to turn around, come back, and try and kill us again.
Okay.
Shade.
Shade.
Okay.
if you start like putting your claw to like do that, like Cole's gonna be like, no.
Okay.
For your safety. Not to us, but you need to get rid of them.
For your safety, we'll take them off your hands.
If you can sell them,
For your safety.
if you can sell them, great. If you still have them by the end of the day, you should just get rid of them.
Roll an intimidation check.
Seriously, he's right. If you do have them by the end of the day, throw them in the lake. Just do not keep them
Roll
around.
with advantage because Cole's helping you.
17.
17. Just take them.
We do not want them. You should
Shit.
get rid of them.
Well, shit.
He takes them off the table and puts them in a sack, throws it to the side.
Anything else?
Do you have anything else? That was it.
That's the whole. Don't usually deal in magical items.
Thank you for your time.
Eleazar, you know the person that teleported in with
Do
us?
you know somebody that does deal in magical items?
I know people that. Well, I know.
Damn it.
They would probably be really good boots.
I know.
The ability for those
What's the name
types
of your
of people
cloak?
to find us,
The wisp.
simple.
Because still, I just like things and
Right.
treasures and.
I know.
It would. We would constantly be dogged by other assassins trying to recapture those boots.
I mean, we will anyway, but
Those
Right.
assassins felled us in like one hit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, never mind.
saying.
She stole all of his spell slots.
Yeah.
All of them.
we
With
could
one
always
hit.
give them to Manila.
Oh, no.
If you're looking for magical items, you're probably better off finding one of the more affluent merchants in the tiers. Somebody that you most likely have a pre-existing relationship with that is willing to barter stocks or land trade.
I appreciate that, but I think we have to get going.
Yeah.
We're on a bit of a deadline.
You did mention that you were looking for other potions. If it's on your way, I suggest you stop by the cenote here to reduce reuse in my cycle. Quite a very talented Triton, or whatever he is.
So,
Thanks, JJ.
does anyone need any
It's
potions?
Giorgio.
Potions? Log, how are you? Because your hit points are reduced right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a normal one for you.
You sure?
Yep. And then who else? Hit points are reduced.
Mine,
Okay.
make sure that.
Right. And then we've got one.
We finally used my potion from the
And we have a good berries from you, right? And then we have good berries.
Yeah, everybody has at least one good berry, and then I have some
Okay.
extra reserves on me. So if anybody needs it ever, just take it.
Did you double stuff that Oreo? I'm not gonna lie though, it looks really good. Sorry.
Yeah.
All I did was
wanna
eat
be
the
a
other.
Let's.
I raw dogged the other.
I was more insulting myself because I looked at it and I thought that was good, and I was like, TJ, you fat ass.
Those are
That's a
amazing.
hell of a lot of cream.
You just put the cream.
So I broke them apart,
Oh,
and I
then
just
the cream ones. Oh,
I,
Just like, yeah.
the other two cookies I ate without any cream on them,
gotcha. Okay.
and then I squished the.
Oh,
other-
I understand.
The
So
two
this is your
sides.
way of balancing the universe.
I split them, ate the ones without cream on them, squished the cream ones together. So
Well, I mean,
Stop saying
I mean,
There's all.
I raw dogged.
his equation.
I raw dogged the plain chocolate cookies.
This is why I do the warnings at the
Oh
beginning.
my god.
I like how you just keep dropping raw dog in the conversation.
And double stuffed the creamed cookies.
This is not the worst we've ever done, but
That's
pretty good.
That's the crazy part. Like I watched some.
yeah, the one with Log's eye was the worst one.
All right. Where you guys headed?
We were fisting things and fingering things.
I've lost
I had to
complete
figure out how to
control.
pull out without making it sound bad. Too well.
And then finish.
I've completely
Spraying and
lost
praying.
control.
We've all lost control, man.
Okay.
We're off the rails.
Alright.
Our show.
Double stuffed.
We
Where you
need to
guys
go.
headed?
We're gonna get in trouble. if
Yeah, we need to
don't
head to
go
that
this
gate
caravan.
and talk to them
Okay.
first.
Where did you go, Trishini?
I just went to a random little bit where skylight, where the actual sun is coming
Oh, so you
down
went more like northwest. You went in the opposite
through.
direction.
A little bit, just whatever was the closest one, just so I could sit in the sunshine and work on some stuff,
Okay,
just in the next hour.
The courtyard at the temple of Palor is probably a good spot.
You can sun with
Or
the
you
rest
could
of the
just
bro dudes.
go out near to the border of the Sky District.
How much further is the border of the Sky District
I mean, it's halfway across the city.
compared to the spot where the bro dudes are just chilling?
Bro dudes?
Sunday.
In their Gucci goo.
The Palor,
They're like basically in the same
The
spot.
non-paler Palor acolytes.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah. So surfer dudes, like acolytes. So the acolytes of Palor, a lot of them are like surfer dudes and dudettes.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, the rays, just feel the rays.
the bro
Like,
dudes.
Yeah.
You got to get some color. Yeah.
I want to let's put it this way. I don't want to be next to the bro dudes and dudettes.
You can find a quiet spot of the courtyard.
Okay, cool. All right.
That is the
But yeah, so one of the closer ones so that I can make it quick.
Check out.
rendezvous.
You want to do a hot man check? See how hot the bro dudes are. Beefcake check.
I can do.
Beefcake.
You doing a beef check?
I could, but that's not Jenny's purpose being there.
Okay.
She could.
As
she could do-
Trisheni, none of them are Kenrin.
But no, I
mean
mean
anything.
she's into all kinds, honestly.
I mean,
we really haven't
Remember,
found out her
she-
preferences.
That's true.
Yeah.
She hasn't really.
She went to the brothel and she just had a drink.
Yeah. Up to
Take care of it.
Yeah.
Take care of it.
whatsoever.
She like
I did that.
could be.
you murdered.
You did that. Yeah.
What was that?
You saw
and she let the one that you murdered think that he slept.
Like
Procurus.
Madam, right?
Procurus.
Thank you.
Rondo.
Yeah, the Procurus in Sasa.
Yeah.
You had a moment. She was like, "Okay, get this over with. Take off your pants," because you were one of the high rollers, and like you persuaded really high, and she thought that's what you wanted. And she's like, "You're like, no,
Plus what
I
you
want
were saying was
information."
just not right.
Yeah.
We are unaware of her preferences.
That's true.
Understand.
I have actually made allusions to. I had a girlfriend that did that,
So
and I
brood
haven't
dead.
been.
So what is it you're
I'm-
doing? You're just trying to get some. You're trying to catch some rays.
I'm trying to catch literally some rays. I'm not trying to look for dudes and dudettes.
Cool. You
That's
have
all.
that vial of Mauritian sand is in your purse.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
It's complete con. I'm not gonna lie, but
Ooh, sand from a giant desert. Ooh.
But yeah, so I'm there writing down the thoughts
bought
and
rocks
ideas
from
that I
the
had
walls.
the other day when I felt a little stronger, and actually writing it down into my spell book. Finally, because we have some time.
Ah, yes. Is this?
Banishment and gravity sinkhole.
How long does that take?
It's the spells I get for leveling up.
It's
So it's
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're taking a moment to catch some rays and do some note taking.
Yes,
You got it.
it's flavor.
You're
That's all I'm
taking a
doing.
you're taking a personal. You're taking a little
moment.
Yeah.
a mental vacay.
Just and then also while I'm there, besides just finishing up the notes, I'm going to start to try to think about how I could capture a moment in time and actually a spell. And like so that you could go back to that moment.
Yeah, you can start the beginning ramblings of that.
Perfect.
But that's going to be something that takes a lot more time.
Of course.
Like at some point you realize you like look up at the sun like past the awning of the stone and realize shit.
I gotta go meet up with
I gotta go.
yeah. But I just wanted to
Yep, and you gather all your stuff up and
Yep.
hurry across town. All of you eventually, you'll come in a moment at the Golden Gate. Past the Golden Gate, you see quite a bit of people packing up, getting ready to go, and unpacking, and giving it off to. There's quite a bit of like carved out stone right outside the Golden Gate. Where people have like paddocks that are like where the fences are just carved out of stone, and where people like leave their horses to be taken care of, or their lizards, or their giant spiders, or their whatever have you, or their you even see as you pipe past there's there's like 6 onkegs that appear to be like domesticated and trained, and they're just like kind of like eating some fungi and other viscera from like a trough. There's all manner of like underground type mountish creatures. There's even like some giant lizards here that look like big fucking Komodo dragons that still have their harnesses on them that like every once in a while like and hisses and snaps at one of the onkegs. It just clicks and then goes off to its own spot.
Hey, Sokka. Oh.
Oh,
Am I the only one who's worried about Grogrug and what the heck he's gonna do when he gets back? He'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
When my whole family's gone.
yeah.
You can
He'll become rich off of what he got himself.
That's true.
I mean, we basically set him up for a while. Knowing him, he'll drink and gamble.
The big worms, they can't digest the more precious, like the heavier metals.
Well, they do. That just there's actually like a magical metaphasic thing that happens in them during the process of digest. It like the kidney stones they make are, and like the gallstones they make are precious metals. Like
What essentially what they poop out is
gemstones,
gold,
adamantium,
silver, precious metals, or gemstones of some kind.
I have to tell you, boots went up a worm's butt. Like all the way inside the worm.
For hundreds of gold, would you have also gone up there?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I wasn't going to tell him that part of the story.
But we found one such dropping that contained a lot of precious metals that we couldn't take with us. His family sent a prospector to go recover it.
If you want to call him that.
Now,
family friend.
I mean, he
Basically like my dad's old college buddy.
yeah,
You know, whatever.
he challenged to
One of
drink
those-
the Gutbuster.
He challenged
Grog to drink the Gutbuster.
Really?
Grog.
when the city fell, we were in the position to
We tried to go
recover certain things.
We
You guys are all giving it words that just I don't agree with.
when we found that you weren't in the room anymore.
Pinjack is like, no, you looted a city in tragedy.
Loot.
There were zombies everywhere. The people
gathering supply.
The people who rightfully owned these things were gone.
I
Very
went to go
flammable.
find Eleazar, and some other people decided to go
We were finding supplies.
look for in other locations.
While you guys are talking about this, you see
There were a couple of cats.
Pernua kind of have like a bit of a 1,000-yard
sitting
stare, as she's probably
I still
thinking
have
about what she was doing when that was happening.
Oh yeah.
Was she there? Pernille, were you there?
Yeah, sure.
She was protecting / not protecting
No,
Ellie.
she was with us in the pits.
Oh, that's when she got teleported out.
Yeah.
But she got teleported out.
Yeah, that was later on after we.
One of the
did
cats.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I may or may not have used to challenge the prospector, and then donated the rest. There may or may not be another cask of Gutbuster in my bag.
That's the last thing you say when you walk off the
Along with a bar's worth of
mercenaries.
other
You see
various liquors.
one of the saltpeter. So the interesting thing about saltpeter, and at least the way that they are carrying it, is that it's not in the amount that they're transporting isn't like a shit ton. It's not like double topped everything. So this carriage, with the aid of somebody pushing or pulling, can be drawn by just one horse. They'll be moving it slow, but it can be drawn by just one horse. There are two carriages. There are two carts, I should say. The other one is being pulled by an onkeg. An onkeg has been strapped. At first, kind of like snaps and snickers around and clicks. But other than that, it's like frills on its side of its head that expand when it feels like threatened, or have folded back, like its ears have gone back, like kind of like when a dog puts their ears back.
Remember when
it's
you were
kinda-
trapped
it's got its
underground?
head,
That thing that you
the whole
thought
adornment
was
kind of
an
back. It looks rather docile. It's just kind of like enjoying eating like a couple of little like bugs from somebody's hands as they're feeding it, and it's been getting strapped in and ready to set off.
Cole, you should ride it.
Not drunk enough for that yet.
Hey, later.
Look, last time we talked to these people, I wasn't actually at the table, so I don't know anyone's name or any of the extra
We
stuff.
didn't.
We didn't get
talk to her
names.
until-
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just her
that's
contact.
actually that's normal to not exchange names because a lot of mercenary and guard work is done not necessarily clandestine, but just in an anonymous fashion because they mostly just do the highest bidder, and they don't want their name to be dragged through the mud and to get mixed up with politics or whatever it is that they're doing or what have you of different factions, everything. It doesn't really matter. So obviously your face is what they remember and who you look like, and your band of individuals is not hard for somebody to sketch and describe. You stick out a little bit.
We signed on to take them from here to the intersection at Fair Spec.
Okay.
They were going on to Thulmore Bay.
Right.
We signed on to escort them to the intersection.
For
Steer.
Because the
Sure.
farther away you get
keep
from
saying
more bed, the more dangerous the Triway is. So
why. Okay.
once they get to that point, they're like, "We're good. We don't need the extra protection."
Okay.
So who did
Also, Sovka didn't sign her name.
She did not.
She made a mark.
Nobody signed. Right. You guys signed your
as a group?
We signed the group name.
as a group name, right? Which is sometimes a misnomer or like a pen name. That's fine. That's normal. You know this. This is normal when it comes to mercenary work and guard work and caravan guard work. As long as the thing is that the reason why you wouldn't want to sign something that isn't your name is because your actual name or whatever name you decide to use eventually works up a reputation, and you could use that reputation to leverage for better prices, better jobs. So if you lie and start off with a new one that nobody's heard of, that you start at the bottom of the rung with shitty jobs and shitty prices. So nobody had heard of you, so they're paying you still pretty decent job, like really decent wage for what it's doing. They might have paid you more if you had a reputation behind you because they want to make sure this shit is very, very taken care of. So this is a government funded jobs.
If we had our original paperwork.
Yeah. If you had some leverage behind your name and people knew who you were, you could probably eke out quite a bit.
What did they know the Argent Flame for?
They wouldn't. We're too far away from
Right,
South.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, for example, Argus, if you had said, "I'm Argus Flame" or Flamebeard, either one, because you might have been able to get it, but you would have given your actual name.
Right.
Because you did do work at that. And you
From
did
here,
spend
a lot of
years and
time,
years
yeah.
building up that reputation.
So is Eleazar aware of all that? About what you
How
just
does that work?
spoke about?
Yes,
had
as
sort
an
of told
urban bounty hunter,
That's what I was going to ask.
you're probably not as much of the like mercenary caravan stuff, but as far as the sword for hire, sell sword kind of thing, yeah, same kind of business deal, same kind of same kind of paradigm as far as you have a name that you've built up. Your
Could I get
name
us a better
Eliezer.
price?
A little late now.
Possibly.
We're trying to, like,
You're not part of the contract, however. So you're not locked into a contract, so you do have negotiating powers.
but we're also down in number.
Yeah, we are down in
Would
That's
be-
true.
We also
But
have
Sokka
more
signed an
members
X. So technically you could take Sokka's place.
Right.
But we also now have Pernua and Grim.
and Moonshot.
And-
Speaking of which, Ermgrim, before he left, had casted a spell on himself to not look like a Duergar. He was having a although it's not unheard of, it is most assuredly not common to have.
They're still
a
not
Duergar.
openly accepted.
Yeah.
It'd be like you walking around as a bugbear.
Yeah, I mean, you might get like stopped once or twice by the guards, just being like, "What are you doing here?" and like because racism.
Yeah.
And
You know what I'm like.
but then you'd be like, "No, these are my people. They vouch for me," and they're like, "Yeah," and then they'd be like, "All right, whatever." Man.
Okay.
Like once they realize they don't have probable cause.
But you
Well,
cut
if we
that off.
decide if we're going to do something, then maybe I can talk to them about getting more money
So-
because there's more people.
Our goal was to say, hey, we found a shortcut.
Okay.
We can get you there in half the time.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I do have to point of order. I do have to preface this. There are goblins in this town too. Like there are parts of society, and you are technically goblin kin.
Yeah.
It's just that bugbears, unfortunately,
Just
have
suspicious.
well, they have a really bad history with cities that do a lot of trade because their peoples are these nomadic tribes that are most notably known for raiding merchant shipments. And so, although it's not
Like I've never done that before.
which you actually have quite a bit. So it's not like, and so the thing, it's so, and it's, and unfortunately it is like, a racial misnomer that it happens. But the fact of the matter is that it still happens. It still happens. And yes, there are bugbears and hobgoblins and goblins that are productive members of legal civil society. But they're few and far between.
Gotcha. Okay.
Our goal here was to say, hey, we found this guy who knows a shortcut.
Okay.
And if they don't want to take the shortcut, we may be going, okay, here's
We'll buy out our
money back.
contract,
Yeah.
or you can come with us,
Right.
and we'll cut off half the time,
Okay.
the travel time.
So is that what we're doing now? Headed to go get this figured out?
Yeah, we're gonna go
Okay,
talk to
cool.
them.
That's good. Yeah.
Because they're about
So
to
you
leave.
arrive, and this Ankeg and horse are being fed, and stuff's being strapped down. They're getting ready. You're like, oh, all right, good. You're just in time. We're about to set off in about like 10, maybe 20. Depends on whether the newbie can get the straps down correctly. It's not a bowling knot. It's not how you tie it. What are you doing? Would someone teach you how to tie a knot, please? You ready?
So we found faster path. We met someone who knows a quicker way to get there in 5 days.
Why? Really?
Really?
And who be you who thinks you know a faster way than people have been doing this for decades?
How well do you know the worm tunnels?
You see him and like his second in command look at each other. Worm tunnels aren't safe. There's a reason why we don't travel.
They are safe.
Roll persuasion check.
Save for them the tryway.
What if our guide was a worm rider?
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I'm never sure because you celebrate when you get like ones and twos, and when you get 19s and 20s.
Oh yeah, I was like 3. He was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Oh, fuck you.
Ken, what am I gonna do with you?
You just gotta lean into it. That's all we gotta do. That's all
What'd you
we
get?
can
So
do.
what's
7.
7?
I am
you
trained
said-
in it.
you
Remember,
said-
everything that I'm trained in.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
7. You said, what if
Worm rider. What if the guide is a worm rider?
Okay, you can have advantage for that because he said that.
Okay, I was saying it's the Stradaway is more likely to encounter
22.
worms than the other.
Yeah.
22.
22. They look at both each other. They're like, at first they're like, pardon me,
A little hungover. All right.
a little bit. Yeah, it was quite the festival. You serious?
Serious.
Prove it.
Grim, you're up.
It's Argent. Argent midnight.
That's what I said.
Look, so I mean, and Argent is kind of short for dwarf a little bit. You know, he's not the
I'm not
tallest.
super tall.
Yeah, no, he's only like 4'2".
It's about what I am.
Like or like it, no, I'm sorry, because you're 4 foot, right?
Yeah.
4'2". He's like 3'10".
Okay.
He's short for a dwarf, you know.
Is he just like a little bit taller than Boots?
He's a little taller than Zemdak. Yeah. It's like Boots, Ermgrim, and then Argus.
One of those family photos.
And then it's all you tall fucks, which is ridiculous. You guys have like a good 2 feet on everybody else. So
you're like 5'10", right?
Yeah.
they both look at him and they go, and he's like,
Actually, that might be a little high.
he says, "No, really, I've been riding him since I was little." He was like,
I'm 5'8".
"Oh, all right. What clan are you from?" "Midnight Clan." "Never heard of the Midnight Clan? You ever heard of the Midnight Clan, Charles?" "No, I've never heard of the Midnight Clan." "You ever heard of the Midnight Clan, Jennifer?" "No, I've never heard of the Midnight Clan."
They're a clan that's
Deep
been
tunnel.
out to the mall. You know, they settled out there. I know a lot of them.
Deep tunnel.
Yeah. Sounds like they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, doesn't it?
No,
No one's trying to pull.
I mean,
the
if you
wool
don't
over
want to
our
get there faster, we can always just buy ourselves out of the
Sam, I'm
contract.
gonna warn you right now. You are.
I'm talking. I'm talking.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying you are well on your way to trying to roll a persuasion check.
I know.
I'm giving you.
I know. They're not shutting me up, so
Would you
So
think
that's
that
why I
part
spoke up
of
and
the-
said that.
Because Adam had addressed this out of game at one point. Because like, I think you're targeting me for your persuasion charisma checks. I'm like, you talk a lot.
No.
I'm like, giving you a warning.
No. I was complaining because my warlock in the other campaign can talk for 20 minutes and not get a persuasion check.
Okay.
And Zemdak talks for like 30 seconds.
Well,
Roll a
there's a
persuasion
difference between trying to
Zemdak asks a
persuade-
lot of questions.
That's
though.
true.
He does.
So that
You guys don't shut
well,
me up.
there's also a
either,
difference
so
between trying to persuade somebody to do something
I
they
understand.
absolutely
I understand.
would not do.
It's
Can
context.
we borrow the ball gag real quick?
What else do you need? Do you need a worm tooth?
Arngrim says, "All right, enough."
would
And
you-
he drops his illusion.
I was gonna say,
and he just straight up goes Duragar, and right in front of him he goes, and he hits his wrist, and like a Bunsen burner blowtorch like phase, like blue flame just comes out of it. He goes like, "I am Ermgrim Midnight, heir to the Midnight throne of the Duragar stronghold Grimdormar, and I have ridden worms before your parents ever even knew the meaning of what the Underdark was."
So he can get us there in a couple of days.
He's gonna roll an intimidation check. Yes.
hold on, I was trying to say this. Do you think that a bard of the college would steer you the wrong way?
You flash your badge?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You give him advantage on this.
That's what I was trying to do before he did that.
Yeah, no, he's a little impulsive.
You know,
Fire.
chaos happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as impulsive as our fire. Fire.
He got really, really good. They're all like, you see Jennifer, she pulls out a warhammer from her belt, and you see a couple of other caravans around kind of just get a little standoffish because there's a Duragar just appeared in the middle of them.
We're going protection. We're not here to fight you.
Arcane conundrum.
He's the
There's a bit of a stalemate at the moment going on. There's tension. It's palpable. like the murmurs of like, you know, the, oh, no, 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 and people talking and haggling and doing everything has mostly died down to a very, very dull. It's like more than half of the people in the vicinity, which is quite a bit. There's a lot of people here getting in and out and everything. Even like, you know, the people going in and out of the city kind of stop and see like this Durgar standing here with this like flame hand. It looks like a phase blade, like a Psylocke blade, but made out of like blue flame that's just like like a blowtorch kind of what is it called, like when you're trying to cut something with a blowtorch?
Plasma cutter.
Plasma
Like
cutter?
it looks kind of like a plasma cutter.
Plasma torch?
Yeah, plasma torch. Kind of looks like that.
This is like
So it's just that
in
solid
the parking
blue
lot
flame.
after a major like professional sports game. We're all like getting back into our cars.
And that one guy that's like, Redskins rule, or whatever it is.
It's just, I mean, it's Colorado. It's Raiders rule.
Or yeah, whatever.
Everybody calm down. Creamy, put away the flame.
This works. If you guys don't
Do you guys...
trust a Duragar to lead you through the Underdark to get there in 5 days instead of the 2 weeks it takes, we can go our own ways and I can give you back our money. That's where we're at. And we don't need to. This is all just semantics. We don't need people to be going crazy.
Offering options.
So how about you just pack up your shit and let's go. Pay us our money. Do we get paid already?
We do.
We got an advance and all that a little bit.
Yeah.
And we can go.
What? And you said you wanted to say something?
I was trying to say, Creamy, put away the fire. You calm down. I'm a part of the college. I'm not trying to do anything stupid. He's trying to get home. He's not trying to cause any problems. I believe him.
And you flash your badge. Okay, all three of you roll persuasion checks.
Yay.
Go.
I love how Zemdak's fatal flaw is, I'm going to try to use my charisma until somebody stops me. What'd you get?
14.
14.
28.
28.
10. You realize I am trained in persuasion.
Yeah. So it's really great because like it's more like you guys are trying to intimidate too, because you're urban bounty hunter big boy got your shit, you know, big old buster sword on your back. You know what you're doing. Your mercenary, you know, caravan guard, you know what you're doing too. You guys are speaking the language that these guys are used to as far as like puff up the chest. But you also know that they don't always respond well to that because that's the kind of language they speak, right? So puff up chest, I can do it bigger. And you're just like, hey, logic, politics, I'm at a higher rung than you. I know what the fuck is happening. And immediately they're like, oh shit. This guy's got Bardic immunity. He's from the Bardic College. There's probably a reason why they're traveling with him.
Not my business.
Yeah. Go like, not my monkeys, not my circus, you know. So, and they're like, you're limited to 50 pounds of your own personal gear. Make sure you pack up and be ready to go within. I don't know why I'm looking at my wrist. He peeks through the Golden Gate and looks at this, trying to the sun coming through, and he's like, the next 3 hours or so, we're going to have to account for more individuals being there, so we might have to hire another horse.
Mm-hmm.
You could just say tomorrow morning. You're still going to get there before they expect it. Just throwing logic out there.
Roll a... Ooh. You know, so this is interesting because this is straight up logic. It's not charisma. It's just straight up like hard facts. You're dropping facts on these people. So I want to say roll just a straight intelligence check for me.
I don't have a good... 14.
14. They're like,
Another night
you
of
see
drinking.
Jennifer like put her warhammer back in
Yeah.
and like, and I
That hangover, right?
fine.
Little
I
hair
suppose
on
we
the
could
dog?
use another. Here's the deal. If we're late on this shipment, your payment is forfeit. Is that understood?
Sure, that's to me.
Great. And if that's consider that you have free for the night. Make sure you're here first thing in the morning.
Grim, where are we meeting?
Damn it.
Where's the tunnel?
Oh, we can probably head off. If we take a right outside of the Golden Gate into one of the side tunnels, I could probably. I'll be honest, I have to be there in order to
That's
direct
fine.
you.
We'll
but,
meet them back here tomorrow morning.
Sometimes the stone, it tastes different when it gets toasted to the outdoor, so you have to lick
Is
the
that
walls a
true?
little bit.
We'll meet them back here at the gate
You
tomorrow
never licked
morning.
stone before?
No, my sense of smell is kind of shot,
What does that have to do with licking stone?
I can't taste it.
I'd say right after the first light is probably where she.
We have to go out the gate.
Maybe we'll fix
Yes.
Yes. So we'll meet you back here tomorrow morning.
There's ever a
rejuvenation.
spicy food
We'll get you there faster.
competition, we need to enter Tusheni.
Yes. Spicy food. Count me in.
You got it. So after first light tomorrow morning, you meet back here.
How about that? That's one of my plans.
Bottle of dwarven wine on me.
Is I can get your smell back.
He looks at you and he's like, grabs the wine, nods at you. With
Like 3 years.
obstinance and obstreperousness, he nods to the Duragar, Ermgrim, and people start to like disperse. I know he's got me saying Grim. You got that most of the populace disperse. They're still like, whoa, everything. But that was big, guys. Like, the working class just said, like, okay, fine, whatever. Because then again, like, the working class don't really care about that much about who you are, as long as you can get the job done. They don't care if you're a goblin. They don't care if you're a zombie. As long as you can get the fucking job done, they don't really care. Granted, they are, but at the same time, they're not as educated as some of the people in higher rungs into understanding, the fact that racial injustice is as much of a thing as much as they're more prone to stereotypes, but at the same time, they're also more prone to throw away stereotypes if proven wrong. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Because they're just be like, whatever. You got the job done. You proved that you can know your shit. Great. I can think completely different about who you are as people now. They're just more easily swayed. So great, cool. So you guys have until tomorrow morning.
Let's go to the temple.
With a telepath. So there's how much gold in that pouch?
It's not our gold.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how much is in there.
It's already lighter than what it should be.
Remember you took some?
He's not going to know that.
You already bought some stuff with it.
I bought the diamonds.
You find a wallet on the street. Or, no, I'm sorry. You find a wallet at a crime scene. You steal the wallet. It has thousands of dollars in it. You go shopping real quick, and then you're like, I'll return it. And you keep telling yourself, I'll return it. And you're like, it's okay. Once everything is paid, I'll put money back into it. And you realize the jar that you have to put money back into the wallet has like $2.
It's Dumb and Dumber works all IOUs.
Yeah.
There's a suitcase of IOUs by the end.
I can't take any more.
But I can.
What's up, bro?
All right. I'm still telepathing. Okay, so
We're not leaving today?
So we're going to sell pin.
We're gonna leave in the morning.
Both of these conversations are happening simultaneously because he's fully talking to you and you're telepathically talking to him.
We're leaving in the morning. No, you can't have any of that gold.
Okay, so we're selling Pimjack.
No, we're not selling my brother.
Wrong with you people?
It is log.
God.
It's log.
He was already sold one.
Log.
I mean, right.
Why don't
When
you
you
go?
say, okay, I'm gonna say something real quick that's gonna make you angry, but get over it, or don't get over it. When you say we're gonna sell Pinjack, you have a moment where you think of, that's exactly what the Red Line Syndicate would do.
Two good people.
He puts them there at the end.
Self-rationalizes it.
They're the diamond in the rough. He'll enjoy it.
Oh my god!
Just go to the temple and get yourself fixed.
We're the one gold.
the stuff in your pocket.
Checks his pocket.
Paper.
He's got a lot of hidden paper.
I'm a few short.
And whose problem is that?
Your brainworms. No.
Yeah. Brainworms.
So Erngrim has completely given up on disguising himself. So you guys are getting looks, having a Durgar walk through. You guys have gained a tail from, not by the Crystal Brand, because the Crystal Brand don't really care that much. Remember, Thulmore Bed...
They don't care.
Well, yeah, that too. And also, Thulmore Bed, there are Durgar that live in Thulmore Bed. Like, Thulmore Bed is a much more of a melting pot than Minheim is. The people that are here are the guards that are paid by the wealthy people that are part of Minheim that are meant to protect their interests.
Freaking Seamus.
I mean,
It's like Seamus, yeah, like Seamus.
Freaking Seamus.
So wait, the trading city is not a melting pot. I'm just verifying.
No, it is a melting pot. It's just
Okay.
not as
Not of
much.
that ilk, apparently.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because
That makes
it's
a little bit more sense.
because
We're too close to the
Tokrin
surface.
rules here. Tokrin
and
rules
that's
here.
why I
So the
wanted to
rich
check.
people rule here, and you know the rich people. Anybody who's not rich that is of certain persuasion, whether it be racial or cultural or financial or economic, is they're like, oh, they don't belong in this type of area, So
Do you want
I'm
to
going to
stay in the
cast
middle?
Thaumaturgy, and I'm going to have some ominous whispers to our tail. Pockets.
check his pockets.
Just ominous whispers.
Okay, cool. Because you could just straight up do that, right? Cool. Are you trying to do this stealthily? Cast the spell as a somatic components?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm just walking away. 19.
19. Yeah. You straight
Anytime I mess with people.
Yeah, so these guards look a little freaked. Like there's like a moment where you like look back and they're like, they look at each other. They look at each other and be like, "Is this even worth it? Are we getting paid enough for this? I know we're getting paid a lot, but are we getting paid enough for this? This guy looks haunted." They give you twice as much as before. They're just kind of like the ones that they'd rather lean up against the wall near the tiers and just keep an eye on you from a distance from the market than get close to you. Actually fully tail you.
Okay, let's get going.
Yeah. Do you want to be in the middle of us?
Green.
Ermgrim?
That's fine. I mean, I like this little guy. He's a little bit of a spit fuck, but I don't mind him. And he like kind of puts his arm around Pinjek. He's like, oh, you're surprisingly warm, sir.
Is he like the same temperature as me?
I really wish you hadn't have said that. Except we had. But alright, let's go.
Family is who you make it.
Have we
Family
assessed if who's warmer?
You want to do a warm off?
I'm fine.
Are you?
No, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I was just curious.
So weird.
But not really. I mean, it's all about fire,
Whose flame
right?
is hotter? Like,
Not all about heat. Sometimes it's about control.
But you want to wait until you're at full abilities before the.
Not attractive,
Let's go.
it's hotter.
Let's go.
Like actual flame hotter.
I'm too sexy for my flame. Too sexy for my cool blue flame.
yeah. 20 minutes later, we have a walk off.
I'm a cleric, you know what that means. And I cast spiritual weapon on the catwalk. Okay, cool. Great. So where are you headed?
Which temple do you want to try first and see? We know
I mean,
light. We know what the dues and stuff are there for the things that we need.
yeah, but we don't have that much gold hanging around, do
Eh,
Yeah, we do.
we? We don't.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, it's don't worry about it.
got a tick.
It's a crick in my neck.
See?
Pinjek hasn't quite made the connection. He's your friend.
She's
Oh, I feel awkward.
I mean, he was there.
Yeah.
He wasn't
He's not paying
probably
attention.
not paying attention.
Why don't you go give her a hug?
Oops, do you have anything you can make out
You
of
could scratch the
No.
her ears.
I love how she's just like,
I'm gonna tell
she
her
has
to
an
go,
audible smile. It's like, ding.
well, I'm going to tell her to go lick his face, which I can basically just like her knee, just like smacking him in the face.
Except it feels like a cold, wet nose.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Mordid. Where are we gonna go?
You have 4 temples to choose from.
We got to get you two fixed. So
Let's try them.
Raven Queen or Moradin would be my.
Oh, which one's going to take the?
Mordid's
Armor
gonna take
and
armor.
bullshit.
Morden. Let's take the armor to Morden. See if we can use that to kind of pay homage. You know, we still might need to use the diamond stuff.
You have like
We
armor.
took some from my parents' house.
Okay, cool. I understand.
Some
Like
more
as an
range.
offering.
Yeah.
I understand. Cool.
we
What
don't have gold.
what armor is it? What type of armor is it?
Whatever was at the
Good,
house.
good shit.
Yeah, whatever was at
Right. I believe I told you. Did I
Well,
not?
we rolled a nat 20, so you said we could have anything we wanted.
Yeah,
That's true. Well, that's how you got the plate armor.
Yeah.
It was more so like just whatever was left over. Could we salvage it to?
Like
I will say you probably
some chainmail.
had like some some chainmail. 75 gold.
That's it.
How much chainmail was?
Sure, there was another half plate there.
I'm not giving you 400 gold.
750.
Jesus, absolutely.
I mean, his mom is a master
you had
armor.
full plate. You found full plate, which was like a gold.
Well, 500.
What if we gave them the forge, your mom's workshop forge that she like storefront forge that she sold out?
Oof.
It's not ours to get.
Like a deed to the land. Technically, it's not, but you are
You're the clan.
in. That's a good question. In absentia, you are still someone that carries the Firebeard name. I'm not going to say any more. It's up to you.
How much is my dagger worth? Wasn't that
your dagger? Your Kenran dagger?
Yeah. Wasn't that over
It is like
2,000 gold?
it's gold. It's gold and gemstones. It is very valuable. You don't know exactly how much. Well, I believe I told you in a previous episode that wasn't recorded, but it's quite a bit.
Could you like lease out Mom's forge for a certain amount of time? I mean, she's not coming back.
Gonna say.
Knowing her, she's not going
Yeah,
back.
no, she's up and
So like, hey,
I think it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
5-year lease to the Firebeard Forge.
It is also.
I never understood that saying. I'm like, no, don't do that. Ask for permission, please.
We do have that dagger still.
it's not gonna be enough. Let's
But,
see
I
what
mean,
they
if,
do.
if we leave the town, somebody's going to end up taking
How much
it
do we-
anyway.
We don't even know if they have the ability to cast the spell.
I have some gold, and I think we have some gold in the group fund. We need to
How
get you
much
guys
do we
fixed.
need?
Some
700 total between the two of
The
them.
Temple of Palor charged 350 gold.
I could have sworn. If I remember correctly, TJ said that dagger was worth an awful lot more than what you're talking about.
I thought it was just like 2.
perhaps if they have.
I don't.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that for me one more time?
Did you write it down? Because
This is how much the dagger was worth.
Perhaps I could work in service of whichever place for the evening, and I could write some scrolls for them. That could be at least compensance for what they got. But it would
well,
be
we
very
got
tiring.
2 different temples to hit. So let's,
I think we go and see what they request
Yep.
first.
Of course, but then whatever. I'm just letting you guys know my services are there to help
you need to
compensate.
use your own services.
I know, but like
You
we're gonna be on
really-
a day. We're gonna be on the road for a few days. You know, it'll be fine.
You know what happens on the road?
I know. I know. You would think that like one day we'd be able to just like
We're not
sit in the back
picking
of the wagon.
flowers and just like skipping down the road, all right? Which happen through worm tunnels. You never know what's gonna pop out in the Underdark. But sure, yeah, let's just completely leave it up to chance for you to just sit on a wagon for 8 hours.
I mean,
I mean, I sat on like a wagon for 8 hours, and I need several days in a row down
that's
there.
yeah, we were wiping your ass for a while. But I agree. I'm just saying that I know that my services can be very profitable, so just if we need to make up the difference, I'm willing to do that, and we can hopefully regain that time along the road, or I just stay up all night, you know, and then we sleep tomorrow.
All right, let's go talk to the temple board and see
Yeah.
what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, your mom's got some good shit, you know. They should probably appreciate it, if nothing else.
Else they appreciate an extra forge.
Right.
Yeah. And if we don't release it out to anybody, somebody's just going to come along and take it anyway.
True.
Right. At least this way they could get the bead. It would be much more proper.
Well, I mean, at least it's useful to us then and not just hidden back here.
It also seems a little, yeah. As long as my mom didn't actually, I don't know, do that already, but on the way out.
What?
Leave the forge.
You think she would have?
I don't think she had time.
Okay.
But, I mean, we told him that basically like around.
Okay. So we go up to the Temple of Morden.
Okay. You guys make your way to the Temple of Morden on, the God's Realm area near the border between the Sky District and under Minheim on the southwestern side of the opening. If I didn't describe, did I describe Temple of Morden before? I think I did, right? Or maybe I didn't. The cold iron and black stone that is here is like resemblant of charcoal, or reminiscent of charcoal and forges, and you can see that there are several exhaust vents here that funnel out probably to other areas that plumes of black and white smoke that come up. They're inside, there's probably dozens and dozens of forges. The pillars here look like they're made of upturned hammers with their heads on the bottom, and they're just dwarven individuals holding the hammers with two hands, standing with the head down, and the pillars are just carved out versions of those, and giving way to this beautiful yet austere. It's very complicated to explain, but it's this austere flat door. But the fact that it's made out of wrought iron, like just that, like coke iron, that like, and it's so smooth is a thing of beauty, because it's really, really hard metal to get to look so nice. And it's just right there, very boom, boom, bam, iron. Just there, and the doors are flat and seamless, and doesn't even look like there's a door there. And at some point, the door opens every once in a while to the point where it's just left open. You have seen them close before, and it didn't even look like there are doors there, but here now it is open, and the interior is lit with orange and red and yellow glows of forges. There are some sconces of torches on the wall, but the majority of the light and the warmth as you walk closer up the steps of these cold charcoal obelisk-like stairs, obelisk-like pillars and like charcoal stairs, you can feel the waves of heat whooshing past you, as just the heat via thermodynamics is trying to get from a hotter place to a cooler place and just rushing out of the door. And you can sense that it's a good probably 30 or 40 degrees hotter in the temple itself. Many forges, as you can see from the lights of their glow, are on. You guys walk in and you see, it is hot, Cole. You are very uncomfortable.
Feels good.
Eventually you also hear like a rhythmic ting 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 shoo fya poo shoo ping ting 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 shi, and you just hear this like rhythmic chanting of in like dwarvish with like like some influences of gnomish and other things. It appears to be just kind of like a very, very, very old type of dwarvish that's a very, very old dialect, almost like an old sea shanty, except rather than a sea shanty, it's like a forge shanty. And they're just singing it, and you can hear as you walk, and you finally see in this U surrounding the main chamber of the temple itself, you see a forge built into the wall, a good 12 forges built into the wall. There's this main like thoroughfare chamber, and there's a arched doorway that goes on the far side, and then there's a main door that you came in through. And these 6 that are like go like 4 on this and 4 on either side of the wall, and then 2 on the far side of the wall before there's an arched doorway. You see 2 individuals working at every forge, all wearing robes of Morden or leather aprons with some sort of iconography of Lord Morden on them. And there's a couple of other individuals just kind of milling about, kind of just watching the rhythmic awe. It's almost musical the way they're doing this. And you can see the sparks of a hammer hitting red metal. Ting, 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 all in different pitches that go around the forge one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. In a rhythm. So while they're chanting this thing, it's a well-oiled machine, and they're taking stuff, and then you hear, and then there's like a bridge where they take it off and they put it in the barrel. Chofa kolo. Ting, 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 tss. And it keeps going around and around. It's very, for you, Cole, you're like, hell yeah. Like, this is dope. Like, and it's beautiful. It is a work of art within a work of art. And that's what Morden is all about. He's a master craftsman. He's into creating everything, but then they have a well-oiled machine. And you see, again, there's other people that are just coming here to just watch. It's like watching a street performance, but it's religious. And they like don't really, while they're at work, they're not really focusing on the people or giving homage to or giving regarding the people that are coming in, like the civilians or whatever they are. You see what they're making doesn't appear to be like anything of like it's not like super complicated stuff. It's not like inventive stuff. It's just they're making blacksmith hammers, iron swords, steel swords, or whatever, but they're all working on the same project at the same time. And then after a while, they might take a break and then work on a different project. But it's simple stuff, but stuff that's still needed, like, manacles, blacksmith hammers, like regular swords, nails, like brackets, hinges, regular stuff but to them, it's like meditative and it's a form of prayer. So making these simple things, as it doesn't require a big part of their brain in order to do it because it's so second nature, their other part can focus on giving homage to their god and everything. So it's like, you've experienced this many, many times. I'm sure Zemdek you have as well. But for the rest of you, yeah, it's a work of art within a work of art, and they really, really are really good at what they're doing. It's like those little shorts that you watch, some of those cool like YouTube videos or whatever, where you see an expert work in their craft and they get something amazing done in like 5 seconds. It's like watching that, and they're just so fast and ping, ping, and rhythmic with it. They've got it down to a science at this point. But yeah, you walk in, the heat blasts and hits you. You see somebody milling about that is, well, not milling about, at least they're intentionally, like every once in a while, even in the rhythm, stopping at each one of the forges, leaning over, allowing the heat of the forge to hit their face, allowing the sparks to scatter across their pockmarked face without flinching. This female summer dwarf. A dwarf that has a little bit of more of an olive gold tinge to their skin. Trishani, you're familiar with these from Brackstar. A few of these were in Brackstar. These are known as gold dwarves or summer dwarves. They're often found just it's not necessarily an offshoot, and it's not like just a tan or suntan dwarf. It's just a type of dwarf that, as a subspecies, she's kind of like through some type of generational, just growing up more in the desert Mauritian area, that the coalition of Golden Dawn just had a different kind of tinge to their skin and is more used to the heat of that area.
Outside instead of under mountain.
Yes, yeah. Outside rather than under mountain. Yes, and you see this this gold summer dwarf. And they are wearing. It's cool because most of the cloth of like the religious cloth that they wear isn't like, like holy cloth. It's like leather aprons and like sleeves that they wear to like that welders wear to protect themselves from heat and like blacksmiths wear to protect themselves from heat, but they have embossed in them and singed in them and pressed and hammered into them symbols of Moradin and other iconography. And it's hot, but it protects them from the heat and they're used to it. So like, and you see this individual is wearing like a welding mask over her head. So you don't really know who she is yet. Sorry for spoiling it. Walking around and she gets really, really close to watching somebody hit the hammer and having the sparks just smash off of the welding mask. But you can just tell by how many different layers of this like beautiful leather. There's like layers upon frills upon layers of that kind of like
She's the
move
one
around.
that's...
She's the person of import walking around like kind of like checking in on everybody's work. It's like that she's like remembering, oh, do you remember your psalms? Rather, she's like, oh, do you remember the correct type of strike to make a wedged dagger from this red hot piece of metal? That's like, because that's their form of prayer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you see.
Cool.
Do I know this woman personally?
Ooh, that's quite a good question. I'm gonna throw it back to you then. Argus, how much time do you think you've spent in the Temple of Mord?
Well, since it was my temple of prayer to the public.
Ah, correct. It was your right. It was for optics, for public optics. It was your temple of prayer. Yeah, you probably know this woman. You know this. This is a High Hammer, Kalia Malmoon. You know that she has. What's that one actor that was in Battlestar Galactica? They call him Waffle Face because he got pockmarked all over his face. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Edward James Olmos?
Yeah.
Yes, she's kind of got that going on her face. She's got a lot of pockmarks all over.
Her name.
I went from that to...
One more time. Her name.
Her name is High Hammer Kalia Malmoon. That's CHALIA Malmoon. MALMUN. Now, you also know that most of the time when someone takes a high place in a religious establishment, especially like Temple of Mord and everything, they forego their clan name and take it one that was in service to the gods, the deity themselves. However, that's not always the case. So, but you don't know anything. You've never heard the clan name Malmoon before.
Argus's religious beard.
You do have a beard. Yeah, it is huge. You have one too now.
Beard is in the sense of a cover.
Yeah. I would say because like you would come in here and just like do your like alms as you would just like a normal citizen, but when people thought you were giving homage to Morden. And at the point of order, when you do that, every once in a while you would like trip over the charcoal steps, almost trip over the charcoal steps, almost as like
Take a little
Morden was,
extra
like,
in.
almost like as if this can't be true. But as if Morden was like, how dare you pray to another god in my fucking temple? Like, I get it, but still, like, what the fuck?
Because Morden had to pray to Kosu to get the flame to make his.
That is definitely a school of thought.
I think you're saying that's Argus's school of thought.
Yeah. But sure.
Argus circles a lot of things back.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah, we need to go talk to Kalia.
As long as they're all like forging in unison, Cole is just vibing out and kind of dancing.
Yeah, y'all pass the vibe check.
Pay attention to that number 3. Listen, he's off by half a second.
Did you bring I was about to send you a text.
You two are the ones that need help, so
Yeah.
So good.
take the lead. You also know where we're at.
That's right.
They're running a nice kind of
Place, so it's not
Is there
Thank you so much, guys.
is there an
Cody,
open
this is really good.
is there an open forge anywhere?
No. It is a the thing about another thing about Morden is efficiency and craftsmanship. So no resources go to waste. Even the coke is reused to be used in like other minor things, like possibly like keys or other silly things, or used to make mortar or used to make it turned into ash to make soap even. To be added lye to be added to. So no, there's no open forge. Would you like to request a forge?
Nope. I was just curious as we were walking
No,
past
he
if there was
needs
an
one. He could have
open.
gone to my family one that no one's at. So, is there a spot where she would be like transitioning where it wouldn't interrupt her current process?
Yeah. If you wanted to wait till like she goes
Catch
to
her
like
between.
after the sixth forge and starts to kind of like slowly saunter her way across the archway on the
Yeah.
far side of the room before she heads over to the next one. Yeah, you could do that while they're kind of like and transitioning into the next like couple bars of crafting. And I mean that the double entendre.
So I'll wait till there and then I'll approach her.
You got it. You wait until then. You walk up to her. You see this individual stacked in a bunch of different layers of leather filigree with all this different iconography of Morden on there, fires and hammers and anvils, and wearing the welder's mask. She turns to you. You're about same height, and like very like a Mandalorian style, the forger from Mandalorian, like who's making the Bhaskar steel. This is the way, that kind of thing. Can I help you, Outlaw?
Yes. Oh, hi, Hammer. I'm in need of some healing services.
Ah, you wish to be purified with fire.
Absolutely.
She raises her hand, and you just hear like a shush. And they all like take a collective exhale sigh as they put a bunch of their red eyes into the water and start, rubbing them clean of the detritus and taking a break. She's like, very well. You notice that she doesn't have the natural, like, Gaelic-ish or Dwarvish accent as most of the people around here. She seems to have just different, kind of like you.
Yeah.
Is it your blood that needs purification, your body, or your soul?
I don't know if it's body or blood. I got attacked by a clay golem that took part of my life force.
Fascinating. If I may ask, where did you encounter this clay golem? Was it one of the clans of Fulmonbed that created this construct?
I don't know who created it. I don't know exactly where I was. I was sent by someone else magically, so I don't know exactly where I was. But it seemed like I was around golems of old.
Golems of old, you say? You didn't happen to
One of the
start
lost.
about with some of the sentinels? The ancient sentinels on top of the mountain, did you?
No?
Not atop the mountain. We've stumbled across one of the Lost Laboratories.
Fascinating. And I assume all of you were present during this?
Yes.
Please. Let us head to the forge fire room so we can speak privately.
As you wish.
Yes, I am.
And she turns on her heels and walks under the archway. You go through several banded iron doorways. There's just everything's heavy and intense and hard here. Ooh, ah, rah, and hoorah here, and there's everything's very well crafted. And she walks through. Eventually, she opens another very fine door and closes it behind you. And inside is just a pool, like almost like a cistern of magma. And it is excruciatingly hot in here. Cole, you are severely uncomfortable. Please roll a Constitution saving throw.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Are you still wearing your desert clothes?
Yeah, I am, because that's the only clothes I have since I lost my other clothes back in Carriage.
But even-
It's all very, very hot. Actually,
But even
Eleazar.
then-
Oh, no. Because of your heavy armor, Master.
He's got AC
fine.
built
See,
in.
you're good. You're okay. because you're used to this.
I'm like happy. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're okay. You're not comfortable, but you're not as uncomfortable as he is.
17.
17. Okay, you're okay. But you imagine that if you spend like an hour more in here, you're going to be like fully exhausted. Yeah.
The sweat's just dripping down Cole's face.
It
and
is
stuff
hot,
like
hot, hot, hot. You see that what looks like a natural formation of like almost a stalagmite that like sticks out from the middle of this pool that just is like just like globules of magma just keep filling the pool, and as it like spills over into like a spillway that goes under probably, so it's always like fresh magma that's in this pool. And there looks to be markings of Morgan along the outside areas and like circles and certain like and 12 different locations around the pool. And she walks around to the far end and puts the stalagmite just under the visage of where like her eyes go to reach you across the pool, and have you guys stand in an archway across her, so she's on the other side of like this kind of like magma fountain as it were. And she's like, please. And then she pulls her mask off and hangs it up, and you see this pockmarked, rugged, female dwarven face that appears to have burn marks across like the bottom of her ear, down her neck, and under her whatever leather armor and filigree that she's wearing. Enlighten me on what it is that you experience. Perhaps this information could do well to further our research. If you require healing like you say you do, perhaps even this information could work towards as a payment towards such services. You say you found golems of old,
Yes.
but not on the mountain. An old laboratory?
It was under the mountain.
That we know of.
Presumably.
We got teleported in someplace. We don't know where we were.
Yeah.
It was
The exact location is a little bit
It was in stone somewhere. That's what we know.
teleported in, teleported out.
Not here.
You see she grabs like an iron tablet off the wall, kind of like product that's in a retail store that is on a hook. Yeah, this is on it, and she grabs an iron tablet about like a couple millimeters thick off the wall, and she just like presses her hand into it, and you can just see the glow reflecting off of her face as like etchings of some language is just being burned into the tablet as she has her hand on it.
Who's this research for?
And this is to further our understanding of the great craftsman himself. He's the one who helped us, or at least is said to have helped us to create the great guardians that protected the Razorfang mountain range to begin with. If we knew more, why wouldn't we seek that information now?
Has your church heard of research centers that were lost during the Great War?
Elaborate.
She's still donned and
She's wearing everything except for her welder's mask. She took her welder's mask off. She hung it.
okay, and she is a dwarf. Yes.
She is a dwarf. Yeah, she's a dwarf. You can now see the complexion of her skin is that more olive golden.
Right.
I
I recognize that, yeah.
And you recognize like, oh shit, she's not from here.
Yeah.
Either or she is, and she's an immigrant
During the Great War against
or ancestor of an immigrant.
the elves, the early triumvirate established certain
Sorry, not
strongholds,
ancestor, descendant. Sorry, go ahead.
laboratories, research centers that were not necessarily publicly known to research weapons
This
during
is
the war.
Yes, this is a matter of not public record, but understood nonetheless.
We have
Many concessions and things were made during the war, the Great War.
during our travels, we seem to have stumbled across at least one so far. Others we suspect.
Do you mean the metal beings made of constituent materials such as ironwood?
We found one of those, yes.
Yes.
Is this where you encountered these golems you
No.
speak of?
No.
That was in another one that I suspect was used as such.
We do not know what exactly where these clay golems were.
You can see the still burning in as the red orange glow on her face.
The clay golem was accompanied by other animated creatures in his particular location.
And you said they resembled the sentinels of old.
Yes.
They also have this giant metal scorpion.
Which lightning out of its butt.
See her like metal scorpion.
And the ground would just swallow you. Or me, at least.
Yeah, I think it only liked you. Like
You're giving her ideas.
When the clay golem struck them, it seemed to also infect them with
Clay.
its own constituent material.
They're not.
It seems to have weakened them
We kind of like
permanently.
feel the clay in us, or is it like
You just kind of feel just a little heavier than you used to. It's kind of like when you're feverish and you're sick and you just feel that kind of like sluggish lethargy and just kind of feel heavy after eating like a lot of heavy food. It's kind of like that, but it also feels like congested and like ugh. You just feel like downtrodden as far as physically. It just sucks. It's like you have the flu, but like you don't have a fever and you're not like sick.
Normal healing and a good night's rest. We're not able to.
It appears you need a blood boiling ritual then.
Possibly. We defer to you.
I mean, is that how you restore living beings?
That is how he graces us with these things.
You boil their blood?
Well,
I mean, because
I
normally
don't
that's,
boil your blood. The great craftsman does.
normally that's not
Sounds painful.
survivable.
you use the
It can be, but not usually.
magma here,
Of course.
Blood of the mountain.
the blood of the mountain?
We use the blood of the mountain.
You hear me say mountain, like fake air quotes instead of
I don't understand your inflection, but yes, we use this. We use the giant syringe, and she points to this massive, like, wrought iron syringe that is like made out of this like, super tempered glass, and this wrought iron that goes into this magma. And she's like, we take some blood of the mountain and we impart it upon your form, and it purifies your blood and restores you to your former glory.
And how many people have survived this?
Oh, to my knowledge, there hasn't been a death yet.
You're not. How long have you been on the job? I'm sorry to be impertinent.
Several centuries.
We know Argus will willingly go through this.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, he burns to death.
Where does the needle
getting
go?
blood of Kosuth in me.
Like I
Where
said,
would you like it to go?
worst comes to worst,
Well.
worst you burn.
Well, I didn't know there were options, but where does it normally go?
You have some, most prefer the arm or the thigh. Some have preferred the posterior gluteus maximus. There has been one that we had to do very quickly, otherwise there could have been complications where we had to put it in right into the carotid artery.
Do you want to wait and see perhaps how...
Why not?
I assure you, it's
like it.
perfectly safe. If Morden continues to bless me, it will be only slightly warm. You won't be burned from the inside out. The only thing that will be burned and incinerated, immolated, and then passes ash through your system will be whatever is affecting you.
Just through the system.
Yes, so you might experience some ash in your
My ass. Smash in my ass.
your feces or urine in the next few days, but nothing that should create any blockage.
Enough talkie. More magma. Let's go.
Wonderful. Should we discuss the alms then?
Yes.
Of course.
And of course, as is per usual, you will be required to provide the material components for such a powerful
They
spell.
reach in and pull out 100 gold worth of diamonds.
Very well. She gestures to the side of the well that has like a little dish in it that looks like it's like kind of like a small crucible attached to the well. She asks you to deposit them in there. You do so.
Well, before you do that, what are the alms that
But we
you...
talked about this story that we were telling.
Yeah,
Oh, that may go a ways, but of course, for those that have nothing but gold to offer, there is a 350 gold suggested donation to the church in order to expend my ability to do this.
Is there a bulk discount?
Like bulk armor discount, like that kind of.
You want me to do this more than once?
No. Well, depends.
I am afraid I'm only capable of doing this once, but although Moradin's grace is strong, all of us have our limitations.
I think you should have an injection.
Okay.
Darn.
Magma is kind of up your alley.
It's going to be up his everywhere soon.
So, with the information, what would you suggest we donate?
What do you have to offer the great craftsman, the forge master, Mordin himself?
Recently handmade set of chainmail.
Very well. At market price, that I believe reaches 75 gold. You may also, when told to, deposit that in the well of magma, and it will be collected in a magma-proof sensor to be forged into something else for the community.
Morden appreciates ores as well, yes?
Yes.
Some ore of pure silver.
Very well. How much? It'll just be the gold value of the silver.
I'll add. We have like 500 gold's worth of ore, so.
Yeah, so let's do
I only
that.
need probably about 250 to make 10 vials.
500 gold worth of ore?
Yeah.
We have a lot of silver.
More than-
ore.
No. I'm saying like I can throw in like 100 gold worth.
Oh, you want to like try to chisel it off?
It was melted.
Oh, she made bars out of it. That's right.
No.
She
Oh
made-
no,
This is still raw, like
is still raw.
pieces that we collect.
I understand.
So I can throw in like 100-ish.
I still get.
Okay, so
I just
let me
want us
do
to
me a
keep
favor.
back
and
about
see.
250 for me to
Do you
make.
pull it out of the bag of holding and show her?
Not all of it. Like,
Well, you can't pull it out in pieces. It's one piece.
no, it's not.
It's not?
No.
That was the first thing they melted out, and it went out. And they
We
just kinda
collected
picked
it
up.
from. It wasn't like one chunk.
When did... I'm sorry, did you collect this from...
The first worm dropping,
poop.
I
Yeah.
heat metaled it, and the silver was the first thing to run out. So it should be like little chunks of silver.
Oh, I understand. You, like, put it into, like, a pot or like...
The shield.
I collected it
oh,
in
it's
the
you collected
shield,
in the shield,
broke
and
it up, and
Yeah.
let the shield go, and then collect the shield again, and then let it cool.
Yes.
I understand. Sure. Yeah. This is raw ore. This isn't
Yes.
fine, so it has impurities in it.
Yes.
So I would say you'd get 90% of the value of what it is that you're...
Sure.
So
But like I give roughly 100 gold's worth of.
Fine, go ahead. Just take 110 gold
Yep.
of worth of. She'll take it.
Okay, so then we still owe
So you just paid 185 gold?
175, right? Because
185, because 75 for the chainmail plus 100. Oh, you're right. It was 100. So 170.
yeah, so
So we need another what?
155. I believe.
That is correct.
Does our story, our
I've got 100
information,
gold I can give.
What
count
else?
that?
What do you have any more information on this location that you're unsure of where you encountered these sentinels? I believe that we've exhausted your information on such. But do you have any more information as to the location of these lost laboratories?
I can definitely give you
Of
the
which-
location of one.
The old, as the word goes, warforged were created.
Yes.
we do know the location of one.
Yes.
one of
Found
them
one
we
in-
do.
I believe that will be enough to satiate our deity.
Carradine.
Yeah. The one we found Revik in.
Yeah.
Okay, so along the triway, not too far from Carradine.
Yes.
Okay, up that rope,
North of Carradine,
that cable.
you will find an offshoot trail that leads to a chain hanging in the middle of a dead-end tunnel.
Up that chain.
At the top of that chain
Shop. This one. Where's our Warforge?
is a hidden laboratory.
She opens a like a stone drawer and deals into like a metal safety box and opens the safety box and pulls out what looks like a metal map that has like been etched on a map of the Triway. Could you point to where it is?
Could we?
I could
Yeah,
try
yeah.
between all of
Yeah,
us.
I mean, yeah. Between we have smart person, mercenary, bounty hunter, person that always knows north, and like person that's used to being, yeah. With your powers combined, you get a pretty good idea with where it is. Yeah, you can do that, and that'll pay for it. That you'll be like, this is very much appreciated. I will send acolytes there to collect as much information as possible. This could work very well towards our efforts as to making sure that we are doing what he desires.
Of course.
I will pull out one of the racked, salvaged arms that I pulled from the wreckage.
Okay.
And I will also offer her. This was found in that location. If that proves our claim.
This is fascinating.
I have a hand and I have an arm. I'll give her the arm of Warforged.
This is fascinating.
We also revived one.
I'm sorry?
He disappeared in the middle of the night. We're not exactly sure where he's at.
There is a one
Yes.
that has it been active since the war?
No.
A new one.
Since the 6th, we woke him up.
He has not been woken since the war.
Correct.
Correct. He was very confused about the date.
And what is said platform's designation? She hangs up the arm and examines it further.
Revik?
Revik.
He seemed to be a warrior of some type.
I shall disseminate this information to only secure parties that Fulmore Bed will have access to. This is very interesting. Of course, they are individuals.
Yes.
We understand this.
Yes.
We do not view them as property, so we will absolutely speak to them in more diplomatic terms, as is the way. This is more than enough to do what it is you ask. In fact, Morden and the followers of the great craftsman never leave debts unpaid. She puts her forge master, her welding mask back on, grabs a fully cast iron gauntlet, and puts it on. Even the fingers are on there. And she just looks around with you and just dips her whole hand into the bag. And you just hear as the metal starts to set on fire and glow hot red. And she looks like she finally grabs purchase on something and pulls something out. And it looks like a small anvil about this big, red hot and glowing, that she bangs on the floor and lets roll until it finally rests in an upright position and begins to cool to bright orange, red.
For us?
Yes, this is a boon.
I'll pick it up. While it's still hot.
You pick it up while it's still hot?
With my hand.
Roll a religion check.
Fine.
I was going to send Conk to do it, but you go. You do you.
No.
Oh my
Every time.
guys. Throw them out.
They're all different.
It's wild.
A natural one. It burns. It hurts like hell. Your non-sensory hand, like the flesh that is the part that you do have feelings, it hurts. You're gonna take some damage from it.
In my hand that has no feeling?
That doesn't mean it doesn't just because you don't have feeling. It doesn't mean you don't take that. You do take. I rolled absolute trash. You take 3 points of fire damage from this as you pick it up, and it it's the parts of your hand that are still together and aren't bone start to melt and stick to this anvil. Do you let it stick to you, or are you trying to get it off?
I mean,
because you're going to continue to take fire damage if you do this.
Still too hot.
I love how Arcus is thinking
Conk walks over to you and holds out his hands.
Rabbit.
You take 8 more. You take 8 more fire
Okay,
damage.
fine.
He's about to get healed anyway.
Okay, look, this is a boom. This is a mobile craftsman workshop,
Gotcha.
able, usable for those who seek to not just pay homage, but follow the way of the true craftsman.
We will definitely pay homage.
Now we can't complain. about
Yeah.
that.
Unfortunately, it does need time to reheat itself. It has never gone completely cool. You cannot use it. You can only use it once every 3 days.
It's okay.
But it does create a full workshop and forge capable for you to do what it is that you need to do.
Sweet.
Full trust in that it will be used every single time that it is possible to use
So
it.
it takes up a 10 by 20 space and like creates a forge and a small workshop, anvil, the whole shebang.
How long does it last when you use it?
It lasts for 8 hours.
Okay.
Like a work day, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's physically there. It's not like a dimensional space, right?
No, it's physically there. It just magically manifests like the mansion.
Okay.
Wow.
But it is in this plane. It's not a separate plane.
Okay.
It just is.
You need
And
it once
everything,
every 3 days.
all of, and just to be clear, all of the materials and tools within it are mundane. They are not magic.
All right, so for
It's like just unfolds and
for record keeping sake, is it every
Capsule
3 days
forge. you know.
from
DBZ.
now,
Yes.
or is it every
The time
3
of
days
use.
from the time of use?
It is fully charged now. As you see, the glow has not dissipated.
It can be used once every 3 days.
It can be used once every 3 days, and once it's used,
It takes
it
3
needs
days
3
to
days for it to recharge.
So it's fully charged now. As soon as we use it, it'll then take 3 days to recharge afterwards.
One of you two want to keep track of?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
This is
all right.
highly useful for you two.
Yes.
So it's sort
If
of
you
like,
hadn't have given her that arm, forget it.
cool. That's a worthy trade.
And you see her walk over to the crucible and begin to start to put some of the things into the forge fire, and shovel the other ones into the blood of the mountain and grab the syringe. Are you prepared?
Absolutely.
And she does so, and she takes this big iron spoon and like paddles.
Let me say a prayer first. So I'm gonna say the silent
Of course.
prayer to Kosu.
Yeah, you do so while she's
accepting his blood
okay.
to mine.
Wonderful. Yeah, you do so while she's getting, and that's the interesting. Like, see, Moradin and Kosuth are like they're not even two sides of the same coin. They're like
Brothers.
they're
Different words.
as
for
if
the
they
same
were
thing.
like it's one's primordial and one's an actual like a god, a deity, and like who was like I guess a mortal at one point. It's like complicated. Like it's supposed to be like has the pictography of like being a dwarf, the whole thing. But what do you know? Nobody really knows. But the thing is like so, and you know that the only reason why they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, and even that's debatable, is due to the Dawn War. About how the war between the gods and the primordials. So it's almost like at some point when Kosuth stopped having his power over the portfolio that he has, Moradin and a couple other gods took it over. So it's kind of the same stuff. Same book, different cover, if that makes sense.
Almost like he's another aspect of him or something like that.
More
Something
like
like
this came from Kosu through.
Yeah, he's a broker.
Yeah.
It's like when you're reading manga in class, but it looks like, but you put the cover of War and Peace on it, so it looks like you're reading or whatever it is.
They see
that
the
kind of-
floating pages the wrong way.
Yes, I used to do that in class.
Way too fast. You're like,
Just Playboy.
yeah, in full Cody fashion.
That
Great.
explains your.
So, you take. What do you say to Kosu during your silent prayer?
Just, I'm so thankful to have the ability to use your blood of the mountain, your blood of Kosuth, to help purge me of this illness. Please use Morden to the best of your ability as his patron, as your vessel.
little backhanded.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an Argus
That's about
question.
right. Yep.
She lifts up the crucible and lets the diamonds trickle into the blood of the mountain. Deposits the armor, deposits a couple of other things, and mixes it up. Takes a syringe, pulls it out. While she's holding the syringe with a bunch of magma in it, she takes another hammer and hits an anvil in a particular rhythm, and an acolyte comes out with a grabby hand crucible with like an orb on it that's made of like iron, and grabs a bunch, like a big old piece of that melted molten metal that you guys put in there, and brings it back into the forge to be made into something else that's useful. Whereas the excess is put into this syringe, and then she takes this syringe and she blazons her hand across it. Fire happens, and then she dashes the fire with ash, and the fire goes out. And then she
Cool.
dips her hand into the molten thing, and just takes molten glass, rock, whatever it is, and just shatters it across your arm, like right here, and it hurts like absolute fucking hell. You're in shock for a moment, and it's roll Constitution saving throw for me. See if you stay conscious.
What's my con save? 18.
18. You're conscious. It hurts like hell. Do you scream? Fucking piece of shit.
He didn't really scream when he burned his hand.
And then
with
it's like that to like sanitize the area like an alcohol swab, and then she takes the
I
thing
could
and
be
just
bad and say I
shoves the thing 3 inches into your arm, and then just goes, and you just like you fully just had magma injected into your brain, like, and the whole thing. You like have a heat stroke for a moment, and like your vision goes blurry. The whole thing. Y'all just think she just killed him, because it looks like she just put magma in his body and just melted his internal.
She told us that's what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm
that's
not saying what you think. That's what it looks like. Because he looks like he just fucking died.
No.
He does kind of go limp for a moment, but a few moments later, you come back to consciousness. You feel fucking great. You feel amazing. You're like, you still got that fire damage from your hand and everything, but you're like, finally don't feel like burdened and everything. You also feel the sudden urge to pee. And it doesn't feel good. She's like, you have been purified through fire, my brother.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Do you have a laboratory?
Yes, of course. Go through that way. One left, 2 rights. Turn around, you
I know
turn.
what they're doing the dance on the way there.
Speaking of which,
See Argus book it.
Yeah.
His little legs.
Cog's still holding the anvil, and I'm just over there, like, taking a hammer and like, ting, 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 ting.
I just see like Zemdak pulling out just a little piece of like iron and putting it on there. Bing, 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 bing.
And that looks pretty cool.
It looks kind of hot. What are you talking about?
Hold a little,
Yeah, you're right. If we're talking about
No, that's it. I was like,
hold a little piece of like the silver ore out it, and like do a little ring.
I mean, that's gonna be
pretty
super
crude.
useful.
One ring to kill us all.
Weave it into my beard after I'm done.
Not 37 max hit.
Right, that was terrible.
Well, he max damaged me on the minus.
so you're at 37?
Yeah.
So that was because I'm at 40.
Yeah, no, I was at 37.
You're not healed, but the max is cleared.
Well, my max is 62. He like maxed like.
Yeah.
Fuck you! Ouch.
Yeah.
So, do we take you to the Raven Queen?
The Raven Club would be fun.
Or
We can see what she charges.
Right.
Paylor, or do we take him to?
It seems like a standard charge
I mean, we do
at this
We
point.
still have a forge that we keep with guns too.
the other thing too, and just throwing it out there. We do have the heart. It doesn't exist, very frequently.
It's not a high but they're probably not gonna plus
But we have to leave first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, will we have time to go back to a temple?
Depends if you wake up early enough. I think, right?
How long does it take me to go pee?
Not long. I mean,
Is it fire?
by the time you're done with this conversation,
Like-
you do. It's like sooty and ashy as it comes out. Like
Clumpy.
it's clumpy. It's a little clumpy.
Little painful, kind of like some kidney stones.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of little tiny
What
kids.
you been doing?
It's a little like
Like-
diarrhea coming out the wrong hole.
Ew.
I mean,
Oh,
that's
You
what it is.
you came up with it.
And there was the line.
I didn't
and
say-
we crossed it.
That was the line, though.
I
Poop
could
doesn't come
have
out
ended up looking like a Durgar and just like sweated out all this ash.
yeah, that too.
Right.
Presidency.
You eventually then make it back
Okay.
to the well, and she thanks you for your service and your alms, and she looks a little exhausted. That took a lot out of her. She welcomes you to enjoy the rest of the temple, but she will then now retire. She heads off to the opposite side of the room you the main courtyard of the temple.
So, Raven Queen.
Let's at least see how much
Let's go outside.
I don't think I have anything else.
really
to do.
hot, guys.
So
How much is it going to be? 350.
Yeah.
another 350.
Let's see.
I have some-
Yeah, Cole, you're like this close to submitting
Oh, I know.
to
Cole's like wiping his head like
Yeah.
every 2 seconds. He's just like, you've seen people when they're just so exhausted in the heat, they're just hanging there.
Trishani helps you out.
I have
Like the key
some
is
pure
drinking
coin.
water. Here, take it. Like,
that I can donate.
I've got like
The key is
125
not
left.
being from a really cold spot.
And I've got that dagger. You still have not figured out.
You do.
What do you think we should
I think that's
hold up
worth
for?
more than what
Right.
we're giving.
yeah.
Okay.
Would the Temple have gone like a forge?
We're not giving that away. That's mine.
Okay. Zebek is like,
He has
That's mine.
staked his claim.
Traveling.
I wasn't
Given
talking
that-
about the one we just got. I'm talking about the abandoned one in Minheim.
You
Oh,
better say a prayer to Kosuth for that forge.
oh yeah. Every time I use it,
Came from his blood.
You kidding? I'm not giving that up.
every time I use it, I will say a prayer.
You have made.
But that's
the blood
mine.
one.
That's mine.
I've got gold.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have enough, but I'm sure if we collectively.
Between all of us, I think we can get you healed.
Okay, well, let's get a
We'll
book
go see what
because
the
we gotta
price
go.
is and-
Yeah.
Well, we can barter.
Right.
We'll see if she takes livers.
Well, I can't give
We're
the
sorry,
Libra, but I'll give my Libra.
Let's see if we can convince.
so you guys,
Yes.
you guys head over to the Temple of the Raven Queen, and as I described before, the darkness, the dark stone, the shadow, and just kind of the stillness
High
of
priest.
the area. You walk in.
Did anyone notice that I'm crying a little bit?
You're
Because
crying a little bit.
this is the last time I saw my sister was on these stairs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kenton, just the way you said it. Does anybody notice I'm crying a little bit? It was so bad.
So we need to do a perception check. Let's see.
Amazingly, 19.
I mean, how well are you hiding it?
Yeah,
I'm
like,
little.
for real. Does anybody know?
I don't know who actually looks at me. I'm kind
I
of
don't know if you realize, but I'm emotionally distraught.
Excuse me.
Okay?
Emotional death.
I have problems.
Don't you see that I am
Not the
struggling with trauma?
I notice it, but I immediately think, oh, he's still just touched that he just got lava injected into him.
Right?
That would make sense.
That's true. That could be either, really.
In my
I
crying
have, I have no
out.
insight. Like, I see it, but I have no insight. So
That
it's
makes
just lava.
Cole will see it too.
Yeah,
because
same. I'm like,
Lava and fire.
I don't know.
I got a 13.
Right? But you're
Lava and
crying.
fire.
Dirty 20. I know I'm seeing it,
Pinjack
but
walks up to you
Cole
and
is so
pats you on the-
hot, and he's just
Hey,
all
buddy.
like, oh, yeah, he got fired. That's cool.
Pinjack walks up to you, pats you on the back. Hey, buddy, you okay?
I'm all right. I don't know where my family went, and I don't know the next time I'm going to see them.
Bernua, you feel her hand lightly descend upon your other shoulder, looks at you, and just hugs you.
Right. We've had a lot of things with Pernue and I and family.
You guys have a lot in common.
We've done a lot of
Yeah.
She's also the one who's like stabbed you
Well,
the most I've ever.
Well,
she doesn't know the next time she's going to see her family either.
Right. I'll whisper to her, if I have any power left today, I will send her a message.
You just feel her nod over your shoulder. She hasn't spoken a word since the altercation. She just doesn't know what to say. You guys eventually enter the Temple of the Raven Queen. You see that statuesque figure of the crows, kind of like that all the pillars of the people that wear those Black Plague, what are they called?
Yep, just-
Plague Doctor masks and like the wings, and you see the frills of the statue there. Up there, just kind of have like a cast of like black light across, but it's not black light, it's like darkness, but it's like what it should be lighter in here than it is, but it's dim, but it doesn't affect your vision at all.
Sure.
You know that there are other rooms for prayer that are in total, complete darkness.
One actually.
You actually walk in the middle of a ritual. It appears that someone is being wrapped up in fabric for funeral rites. This is where Paylor kind of celebrates the birth and baptisms and all that thing. Raven Queen celebrates death. Think of it more of like a New Orleans type of death. They kind of celebrate that just because they celebrate the life that they had, and also the fact that they now get to continue that to pass on to the natural order of things. They've done their job, they're going on to the new plane, and the Raven Queen will usher them to the next, or what have you.
Proper balance.
Proper balance between the two things. And so you don't see very many sad people here. They're kind of happy. They're like they're the people that worship the Raven Queen understand that this is how it's supposed to go, and that this is a good thing. So you see, like very like New Orleans style. Some people are celebrating. Like there's a couple people talking in the corner. There's a couple people drinking some ale, even in a temple. Like it's like there's a small New Orleans funeral of about like 10-20 people happening here. Which I mean, the body does get removed in a decent fashion. It gets put into a pool of what looks like inky black water and just descends into nothingness. And the people, bow their head, but rather than being sad and everything, they were like, good job. And they move on and they drink their drinks, and it's like kind of like a wake, but not a sad wake, like a New Orleans wake.
Play little jazz on their way out.
Yeah, there is a little bit of music going on. It looks like some minstrels were hired for this. You actually see one of the acolytes with like a little like double shang going. This is normal. This is like their way of prayer. So you walk in. It appears like you witness this for about 5 minutes. It appears like the festivities are dying down, or they're just kind of doing their own thing in their own corners, but they're still offering services.
Do we see that same priest who led the ceremony?
The man, right? The man was doing it. Was there a priest?
This was the priest instead of the priestess.
The high priest led the old.
The high priest, yeah. The high priest. Yes, you do see him here. He does appear to be like solemnly chatting with one of the other like attendees. Looks like he's just interjecting a word here and there. Nothing too.
Excuse me, sir.
Zemdak and taps on his black robes, and he's got like a cloak made of feathers and the whole thing. You walk up and tap on him. He's like, "Excuse me, sir." He's like,
"Does your temple offer like restoration, like greater than normal healing spells?"
I can remove like poisons and the like from people, but I can't do more than that. Not frenzied more than that.
and you wish to expunge alien entities.
He's been corrupted.
Pureness of the dark.
He's been corrupted by some clay
Especially
elements.
he likes the dark.
Yes, the absence of all things, including light, doesn't allow for extraneous and alien entities to exist within an individual.
So can you help us?
Pardon me. Yes. Yes, I believe I can offer you those services, although we will most likely have to sequester ourselves in one of our dark rooms in order to do so.
Of course.
And
So
of course, suggested donations and
For your spell, does it have to be all the way dark?
yes.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Well, the darkness does get absorbed via the process of the spell, so there are moments during the spell where there are things visible as I concentrate darkness into a single point.
I just mean
Thinking
And then
her.
moonlight.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to go in. She can stay.
Yeah.
But I mean, you.
There's quite the time.
We'll give it a shot.
Moonlight can.
Do you have a
hang here with me,
suggested-
'cause I won't be able to see anything anyway.
Moonlight is just another side of the coin than the night sky.
Do you have a suggested donation for your church?
If you are familiar, he's kind of ignoring this. If you are familiar with the liturgy, as that the Raven Queen agreed to have longer nights during the autumn and winter seasons, as they agreed with Paylor to have longer days during the summer and spring. So night is definitely part of the portfolio of our great queen. So if moonlight is a concern in this instance, are you made of moonlight?
No, it's just there's.
I don't see a problem.
It's the day of the triple full moon.
Yes, of course, we are aware. Why do you think we chose to have this?
Brightest night of the season.
What do you see as brightness? We see as the negative of light. Although the moon, postulated by many scientists, is just a reflection of the great Paylor's light, as we are the opposite side of the coin and a reflection of what life is. We are dead.
Right. So,
Right? But like
never mind. Never mind.
logic is
If you can help us, that's all we require.
The deities are complicated.
I think.
what he said.
If you can help our friend, that is what we came here
I believe I can.
seeking.
Can you swallow a pill without water?
Right. Mix the pill.
About the size of my thumb fingernails.
I should be able to.
Wonderful. You will swallow a mote of darkness that I will condense into complete, and you will essentially absorb this in order to starve whatever it is that is ailing.
Sounds better than a magma injection.
It is, yes,
That was the solution of the Church of
Moradin.
Morden.
They are more than welcome to pursue their own religious endeavors and beliefs. We prescribe to a different liturgy, but again, we're all here together and living cooperatively. So.
Do you have a suggested donation appropriate for this
Yes,
type of
after
ritual?
supplying the necessary components, of which is 100 gold pieces worth of diamonds for such an endeavor and
Yes.
spellcraft, we do also suggest a donation of 350 gold. Or if you would be willing to give those who have passed a proper pathway through.
Does it count that we?
Very good point.
I'm just joking.
Pernua walks in here,
Ooh.
okay? And you have very basic understanding of the tenets of the Raven Queen.
Oh,
Undead.
As she walks by, some of them get like shivers, and the high priest, his name is Rupas Didane.
We never asked.
Also gets a little. You'll get.
Yeah.
Also gets a little shiver and everything, but he rolled a natural one. He doesn't seem to get a full read on it. But it does occur to you as he's talking about the tenets of the Raven Queen is like, undead are entirely an abomination and death needs to follow its proper course. And you're like, shit.
Pernua, why don't we wait
Pernua
outside?
is technically on hollowed ground and she looks like shit.
Cole was never going to go into the completely dark room anyway, so Cole's going to be like, Pernua, why don't we go outside? We'll wait for you guys outside.
She like quiveringly shakes her head yes. And you see like some of them like stand up straight and they feel a little bit better. I did a collective check, they rolled a natural one. If it was literally anything else but that, this could have been an incident.
Does it count as credit? We have recently recovered a lost set of canoptic jars of the Kenrin style of burial.
Fascinating. And how did you acquire these items?
They were lost in a worm tunnel?
They were salvaged?
Yes. We recovered them and returned them to their proper destination.
Recovered from what?
A lost wagon?
Its owner's gone?
Yes.
It wasn't evidence. Owners were ambushed, killed by.
It would have been lost until someone recovered it.
I'm aware
We
that
did-
it's lying. Thank you.
This would be, yes, this very much would be considered a
Proper.
good deed towards the Raven Queen, as it is our aim to respect other cultures and their ways of passing, as the Raven Queen is known to do. It does not matter which culture or religion you pass into the other life, only that you do so properly, and not try to regain your mortality or immortality as the natural cycle intended. So, if this is
I always
true,
burn all my bodies.
they asked to examine. I am High Priest Rupas Didane, by the way, I had not mentioned. That's Ruhpas Didain. High Priest Rupas Didane, Temple of the Raven Queen in Minheim. I do ask if I could examine these jars for. There have been others who have made some exactly of nefarious and false pretenses. If I could verify these authenticity without damaging the containers, I would very much appreciate a gander.
Should return them to what's his name?
Yeah. We returned them to Us and Us
Van Talkren.
from the Nasland family shipping
Well,
logistics
I was on
company.
that
I'm
part.
afraid if it is part of one of the families of the tiers, we do not have jurisdiction to pursue that.
That's fair. It was worth mentioning as it's
Of course.
a recent.
Is there anything else?
I think gold is going to be our only means of alms.
Very well.
How much
Unless,
more gold
of,
do we need?
350.
of course, you have some things that the scholar could help you with, if needed.
So,
If you have some things that either need transcribing or something like that, or some old.
fortunately, most of our scriptures that exist are those that are maintained upon the sarcophagi, or the resting places of those that have passed. You see, the dead do not require records. They only require peace.
That's interesting, because in my culture, they do require records so that they can attain peace.
Yes, of course. As we spoke in the Canoptic Just, your species is mostly joined at birth with another. and your culture is required due to the unfortunate circumstances of your geography and the curse, as it were.
Mhm.
The Raven Queen, our gracious queen in death, ruler of the Shadowfell, detests this curse. Should you find any information that would be able to alleviate or ameliorate such an unfortunate, the church and the temple would very much value.
Very well, but I do not think it a burden to tie oneself to another in
Oh.
life and death.
I apologize. It was not my intent to come across that way. It was mostly that the unfortunate circumstances of your geography as far as the curse is concerned. You must understand the God of the dead requires that things go to the natural order. And if entities rise after being slain for no other reason than a curse that plagues a land, we view that as a plague. Abomination to existence. And we pity you and empathize with you for your staunch resistance to be able to endure such circumstances. It is not my intention to offend your cultural sensibilities.
I see. Very well. Let me ponder upon it.
We do have a flame that we keep lit here for those that have lost their others. Would you like to visit it?
I'm okay with unfortunately, with the company that well, fortunately and unfortunately with the company that I keep, so I can do so. But thank you very much for your
Just nods at you. Is there anything else?
So we either scrounge some gold or get up first thing in the morning. If that doesn't work, come back.
still scratch some gold probably.
Right.
I say we just get it over with.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'll throw in 75.
I've got 100.
You guys have the diamonds?
Yes.
We do. I didn't want
Reluctantly for my diamond pouch.
I didn't
We're already short of 2 full revives,
I know.
so we might as well just.
I didn't want to speak for all of us and what we know of the dead versus undead and what the host has shown us. So I could certainly offer that knowledge, but
I mean, there's a lot of other parts of it too.
yeah,
When the soul leaves the body. Because what does the Raven Queen care about the body versus the soul?
right. I don't know. I just got kind of a. I know they didn't mean poorly, but like the something around
Because
my
most of these
further wrong way.
undead do not have a soul. They are just an animated shell of existence.
Most, but I was dead for a while, and I'm here, right?
Yes, I had to put your soul back in your body.
Of course, but also like I don't know. It just there's a lot going on with the maw and Big Boss, and that's falling to the undead, and with who knows what exactly caused the fall of it? But it regardless, people died because of the undead that were there, and it's
Your church would arguably be fighting against what is happening in the maw, yes?
Every once in a while, the greater churches band together to send out pilgrimages and crusades
in order to try to fight back or find the source of such a curse. But the coalition of the Golden Dawn and the Merisian peoples have made it very clear that they do not require, need, or desire such assistance.
And what about the greater incursions that have happened in the last month?
We are
Both their
only
and
vaguely aware of such things, as most of the information that has been passed through peoples and even traveling caravans through the greater cities of the Merisian and the coalition of the Golden Dawn has been stifled as of late.
Oh.
Information control seems to be in effect.
in Carradine.
We have sent several of our most trusted clerics there to try to prevent,
Good.
put down what undead incursion occurred. As of yet, no news has reached me of a discernible conclusion, but
Just wanted to make sure you were aware.
What, if I may offer towards that service, there has been a breach then in Bebos, and it is of the undead, which yours is fully been aligned, and I just want you to protect the people that can be protected, if you can. And I'm just but one of many, but hopefully.
this is disturbing.
Yeah, it's proud people. I get it, but I'm just telling you the facts. There was a breach, and we will not reach out. And it's stupid of them not to reach out.
They are proud, but they are in trouble.
Right. And there is, as much as I am fervent to the God Pharaoh, there is much that those that are not are being persecuted, and I do not want that.
You could say, as you're describing this, very similar to like a bird, the feathers kind of like plume up, like very hair anime style, being like Hayao Miyazaki style, where the hairs kind of like the feathers kind of come up from his cloak, and it just kind of gets rustled, and he's like, "This is quite disturbing information. I will do my best to disseminate this to the powers that be."
Save the people, please.
If there was a crusade to be had, now would probably be a good time.
Right. They fought it off long enough, but
We will call back some of our forces that we have sent to the northwest and reallocate them to the east.
and get some good authority from somebody that is there.
Very well. I trust that you speak truth in the dark as you will in the light.
Of course. This matter.
It comes to my attention that that type of information is worth some sort of recompense. I'm willing to reduce the fee of my services to 150.
So I'll give an extra 25 and we should be good.
I'll throw in 75, so you throw in 75 and we're safe.
Okay.
I thank you for this information, although I'm not sure how much there is to do, as political ramifications could be the biggest barrier here.
With the political ramifications, the people are dying and they need to be saved, and they are going to be too proud to reach out for it until it's too late.
I'm not sure
I agree, but I don't want to start a war.
I'm not sure that the forces of the
already
Pharaoh.
started.
Indeed.
I'm not sure that the forces of the Pharaoh are in a position at the moment to put up too much of a resistance.
I would say,
Unfortunately, the decision is not up to me, but I will advocate on this behalf.
at least being of who you're of, the God Pharaoh, and you should see at least on the same level. You are working towards a similar goal of being there in the afterlife, yes? So hopefully your coalition out of all the others can perhaps go and help.
It is refreshing to hear that many of your persuasion do not see.
I've studied a few things. It's a thing. Do what you can. That's all I ask.
Very well. Should we
commence this then.
To the darkness.
He bows and gestures towards one of the dark rooms.
Is it gonna be a little bad that he likes to summon undead?
Maybe you should probably and maybe you go hang out somewhere else, you know? And you and Pranua and yeah.
Just wondering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send Moonchild out where Panula and Cole are hanging out.
Okay, cool.
We're totally hanging out at the bottom of the steps where we're no longer on their ground.
Moonchild just walks down the steps.
There's a difference between perpetual undead and like temporary.
Yeah.
Do this and then go back.
Yeah. This is like a friend.
So you guys all walk into the dark. All walk into the dark room. You are the one there doing the Rupas, High Priestess Rupas Didane is doing the ritual on. He asks you to stand in the middle of the room, and he'll ask the rest of you to stand. Please stand on the I know it's pitch black in here. I know that some of you aren't able to see. Please search for the exterior wall of the room and put your back to it and keep your hands flat and faced up against the wall.
Can I?
I'll walk you over there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did Moonchild come in this room?
No, Moonchild, Cole, and Purdue are outside.
Because I sent her there.
Okay, the rest of you listen.
Okay. Listen, I'll just be crying silently in the corner, thinking about my fathers.
I'll squeeze your
hand.
Based on what happened in the Temple of Palor, I'm
Yeah.
ready for a battle, just in case.
Okay,
So I pull out the Viper
I don't.
Cutbash. And I've just sort of got it like held.
okay, so you're not listening to his orders. I told you to put your hands flat up against the wall.
Oh! No, then I'll do it.
Becomes undead, maybe. I feel like Ghostbusters vibes in here.
But I'm like,
supposed to do like holding out.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, maybe he should too. You're not supposed to cross the beam.
That's you.
Have to cross the beam.
So
no, if he says like, place hands on the wall.
put your back up against the wall and put your palms flat.
Okay, then yes. I thought he just said like stand against the wall. Like,
Just because he doesn't want you to get
Walking that line.
So, he asks you to stand there. He doesn't appear to be hindered by the darkness at all. Is he like, you hear his very, very steps. As he walks over to you.
do you still have devil sight?
He's just as tall. He's just as tall as you are. You are eye to eye. He puts his hand on your shoulder, and he's like,
Yeah.
when I tell you to swallow, please swallow.
Oh, no.
Oh God, dude!
Is your shoulder? Is your shoulder at the same place?
Yeah, because I'm on my face in disguise.
Okay.
You could have said something else.
Nope, that's going up. Can logs,
Usually they tell me to get
I
on the
changed my mind. It's gonna be a different ritual.
can
You
logs,
say the potion. If you put
Not a
the
potion.
can logs
Okay.
devil sight see through this darkness?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We can't though. Like even with dark vision, we're
No, you dark vision, you can't. At the moment,
Oh,
you
okay.
can't. This is just regular darkness because there's no windows. It's just regular darkness, natural darkness. But that might change soon.
that
He just.
understood.
It's canon. You gotta keep it going.
Divine darkness.
I'm not gonna say it anymore. You see,
You're the one that invented this ritual where he's got to
here's the
swallow.
deal. Here's the deal. You can see dark vision. You just see this is the exact motion you see him doing.
Gathering
The dark.
clumps of dark.
You see with your devil's sight him grabbing the fabric of darkness like as if it were like a Vanta black canvas, digging his fingers into it and pulling it like fabric towards a center point that keeps getting darker and darker and darker, almost to the point where it's like becoming almost like a small singularity, like a black hole. And you just don't see, you just see him grabbing the air.
Doing the motions.
And then
Yeah.
those of you who can't see in the dark start to see upon the edges, like in the very, very corners and creases of the room, like a dim light start to show up. Almost as if he's grabbing the entity of darkness itself and gathering it into one point, and where it's becoming vacant, like visible light is like, or like, moonlight or whatever, that kind of ambient light is beginning to, is just gathering it and concentrating it into a point. And then you see, like, as he's gathered as much as the fabric as he possibly can, he starts to push it like he's compressing it. And again, light starts to gather on the corners and the creases of the room. You guys can see now in dim light. However, where Log and the High Priest Rupas is, nothing, just a void. It's not static, it's not darkness, it's just you can't see. It's just there's just nothing there. It's almost as if there was a hole in space. And he keeps pulling and pressing, and you see this thing is now resisting. Whatever this orb is now resisting, as parts of the feathers of his like gauntlets and cloaks start to be pushed off via gravitational forces or wind out of, and start to get caught, and the rest of you start to see and hear the sounds of flapping wings and feathers flit in and out of the visible areas of the room as he pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes and crunches and crunches, and just like he's forming a clay thing, he's trying to make it as potent as possible. And you see beneath his mask just sweat starting to dribble down beneath his neck upon his collarbone, and gets soaked up by the feathers of his garments. And he pushes and he pushes and he pushes, and you just hear sound, and you see like not a sea but feel a gust of wind as a bunch of feathers get pushed out and slowly find their way to the floor. The rest of you hear very, very, very heavy breathing, and you also feel like a tug at your sternum towards the center of the room, like a gravitational force, almost like when he was pulling this, he was pulling gravity itself as well. He appears to kind of combine darkness with gravity to create like a singularity where not even light can escape. He created like a small black hole, almost, as it, and then he holds it here, kind of hovering in his hands, and then finally grabs it with his two talons of like, gloves that are made to have talons in them, very, very, very fine points, and you can't see it. Like his talons go halfway into this thing before it finally finds purchase, as though it has like a radius of complete darkness that not even you can see through. And it's this tiny little thing, and he says, "Swallow." Shit. And he's asking you to eat the black hole.
I eat the hole.
Jesus Christ. He deposits it in a place where you can consume it, and you consume it. You swallow it. It is, you can feel like your tongue and your cheek.
I don't think that was any better.
Yeah.
Being sucked into, like, it almost has like a gravitational pull on it. I need you to do me a favor, roll a Constitution saving throw, just real quick. It's not hard. It's mostly for roleplay, but I just wanted to see something real quick because of a couple things.
Go see if that hole makes you sick.
Maybe a 9.
9. Okay. You feel for like a split moment the tether and the bond between you and whatever powers you gained from your book devouring the fetish, like snap, like sticky tack or cheese being spread too far that it snaps before it reforms. But you feel like this thing was like almost pulling you, like it had a gravitational pull on that, but not you, as it was attempting to pull that out of you. But it does pull out the sluggish lethargy and the stuff, and it does, and it gathers, and you can feel it as it goes through your system, the kind of getting bigger and collecting all of that stuff. And it was trying to collect the other entity within you as well, but it wasn't able to do so. It wasn't powerful enough. It finishes. You regain your maximum hit points, and you feel the sudden urge that you need to defecate.
Were there any physical raven's feathers?
Yes.
within
But, the
reach
ones-
of me.
Yes, yes. Mostly ones that were blown out of the gravitational resistance from his actual cloak.
You know he's gonna want to keep everything.
Go ahead. You trying to do this stealthily?
Yeah.
Do roll a sleight of hand check.
I mean,
You're
my
in
other
the
hand,
dark.
my other hand stays on the wall. But,
Sure.
like, I reach out one hand and try and catch some feathers.
Sure. Roll sleight of hand check, and we'll see how you do.
22.
22. Okay. Now roll a dexterity saving throw.
21.
21. Okay. You
Is he
feel
within
as you pull your hand from the wall, almost like when she casts magnified gravity wave, you feel like, oh shit, I should not have done this. And then, but you grab one and you eventually put your hand back. It is a complete difference between.
Couldn't do that again.
Yeah, you felt like there was almost like a magnetism of you being kept safe while you were touching the wall.
Gotcha.
Whereas, like, as soon as you let go, you're like, shit, I'm gonna get sucked into this fucking thing and it's gonna eat me.
Very true statement for all of us.
Shit, I should have done this.
That happens. You are cured. You need to poop. The door then opens as light re-enters the area. First darkness reasserts itself on the lighter regions of the area, and then the door opens, and I must now retire. I do hope that all went well, and you should be cleansed. Alien entity.
I'm about to be. No. Because we're close to the actual outdoor, right?
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna run, turn into a wolf, and just outside.
You got it. Cool. Sure. I'll say there's a safe spot, like beneath the shadow of a pillar somewhere that you can just transform and it'll be fine and nobody really thinks too much of it. You do so and you just go up to around the back where you go run past Moonchild and Cole and everything. You just see this wolf run out of the temple, go around the back and just shit in the shrubs. What's up?
Can I collect the poop?
Do you run after Log?
Yeah.
Okay. So Zendak runs after Log.
I mean, he's handled my
You
shit
see the high
before.
priest retire into a back
I'm
room.
gonna go after Locke.
Well, you don't. But
And I'm gonna be like, I'd much rather have some magnavane than some random guy's ball in my mouth.
oh my god. So I can't have nice things.
You went there.
I was trying to be artistic, and you guys went sexual and gross with it.
Have you met us?
It's true.
I mean, we had a whole
Oh, hey,
that
okay.
shit children
So
through-
you-
Oh, hold on. Can I backtrack?
Roll to see if you have a doggy bag. I really need to know.
For
He's got a
flask.
lot of bags.
Oh, it's true. You have flasks
And sacks.
and balls.
I don't have balls, actually.
You don't?
Pernua has the gang.
Zedek doesn't have balls?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I have balls.
You're neutered?
Oh. Testicles,
He's the
yes.
castrati.
I was thinking more like ball-bearing balls.
Oh my god. Okay.
Real quick.
What?
Because I didn't want to interrupt
Sure.
you while you were doing your big description of Log eating the whole.
Sure.
But while Cole is outside with Pernod and it's just the two of them, Cole actually would like to
Well, it's
mentally.
three of you.
The three of
Moonchild's
us.
there too.
But Cole would like to mentally connect with Pernua so that way it's not loud where everybody can
Sure.
hear. Can you tell when he is controlling or looking through your eyes when you're with us?
You see her get really uncomfortable for a moment and look down and
Is there a way you can let us know when that's happening? How would work? What would work best for you to let us know that?
when it happens, I don't have control, so I don't.
You can try and get my attention with your eyes or anything. You can always try and see
You
if I can.
misunderstand. I don't have control.
I understand. I do. It would just help us if we knew.
Zemdek runs after you, who is pooping, and Zemdek's standing there with a
Doggy bag.
doggy bag, like a leather sack
Like
in
It's
his
still steaming.
inside out over his hand,
I'm
like,
less trying to
watching you poop.
I'm less trying to
I'm
clean up.
I'm maintaining
after
eye
him.
contact.
I'm more trying to see if like that thing came out the other end.
And we don't do that.
Oh, okay.
It's like when I-
So you finish, and you see him walk over to where you pooped.
That seems about right.
It does look like there's small pieces of clay within the defecation.
But no like miniature black hole.
No.
Okay. Wipe it on the pillar.
And that's where we're going to take our break, guys. Well, if you're watching this episodically, play it over the next episode. Please like and subscribe, and make sure you check out our
Sorry, prestidigitation.
make sure you check out all our social media, our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And as always, guys, stay safe out there. Bye.
Bye.